Intifada in the United States of America, global war against Western civilization. The Democrats, because they're the left, keep in mind they're not liberals, they're the left, they're encouraging all of this, naturally. And who else do they love, Michael? They love MS-13. They love everybody. You know, they got their boy, Brego Garcia. They all want their daughters to date him. And, of course, they want their daughters to date the CEO killer, Luigi Mangione. They're going to have posters on the back of their bedroom doors like he's Farrah Fawcett because they're mental, serious mental issues with the entirety of the Democrat Party. Oh, man. So we got that. They love, it's not just MS-13. They love it. It's not just Luigi Mangione. It's not just Mahmoud Khalil. They've got more as well. They love Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang. The Democrat Party is in bed with Tren de Aragua and MS-13. You see that 11 young men with Tren de Aragua, the Venezuelan gang, attacked police officers in where? In Caracas? No, in New York City, in Times Square. A violent mob of 11 Utes. What's a Ute? They attacked the police, violence, hurling object bottles and things at the police. And the Democrats who say, well, that's free speech. You know, free speech is everything except a 75-year-old grandmother praying outside of an abortion clinic. She gets 2 years in prison because the Democrat Party is very unwell indeed. They're not normal people, not even close. So we just got, just scratching the surface, but we've got, it's becoming a national story, as I said, out of Loudoun County in Virginia. And the Attorney General, the great Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Jason Miyares, was on the radio here in Washington, D.C. on WMAL on O'Connor and Company. And this morning he was, just not too long ago. And he had a thing or two to say, the wonderful, great Jason Miyares had a thing or two to say about the Democrat Party's gender dysphoria and the fact that they've got this a young woman who says, I'm a boy. I'm in the boys' locker room. And then 3 of the boys in the high school said, you know, this is a little freaky. I don't think I want this person who says she's a boy in the locker room. And the young men complained to the authorities, Sig Heil, the authorities. And the authorities said, oh, you young men are in trouble. You have violated her Title IX rights or protections. So the Democrats are punishing the boys because...
We have recording. Michelle Obama says she's transitioning.
Terrorism and political violence, which continues to this day. Hey, Michael, did they firebomb any Jewish politicians' houses last night? Because that happened to the Jewish governor of Pennsylvania very recently. And have you noticed how that's a one-day story? That's not a big news story. When Democrats firebomb a Jewish governor's house in Pennsylvania with Molotov cocktails, 2 of them, and the Israel-hating Democrat young male arrested. You know, there's an arrest. And Michael, have they released him on like $300 bail yet? Because you know how they are when it comes to, they love bail. The worse you are, the worse the person is, the more the Democrats want you out on bail. Remember, Kamala Harris was helping to raise money for the rioters in the George Floyd melee, where they murdered dozens, committed billions in property damage, sacked, looted, and burned the country from coast to coast because a career criminal junkie died of cardiac failure while resisting arrest for yet another felony. And the Democrat Party burned the country down because they love criminals and crime and crackheads. And he had fentanyl in his system and methamphetamine. I'm not sure he had crack. We'll leave that to Hunter Biden. Speaking of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden did an interview. He sat down and did an interview with the British Broadcasting Corporation. And there's a great headline. In fact, one of my brothers sent me the headline this morning, and it did kind of make me laugh. The headline this morning from The Telegraph out of the United Kingdom, and it's wonderful. The headline says, Biden interview reminds us why Americans elected Trump. That's a British newspaper. and he sat down with a British news outlet to do his first sit-up interview. And the British are responding with, Biden interview reminds us why Americans elected Trump, because Biden's brain, she's a no good. That brain of his, she's a dead. She's a no good, that brain. Man, oh man, she's a broke. That brain of his, she's a broke. So we got that. Also, the Hutus and the Tutsis are back in the news. You know, they've been murdering each other ever since. Right? You know, the white liberals started ignoring them long ago, but they kept murdering each other. Congo and Rwanda. Remember Rwanda? You got Hotel Rwanda, had made a major motion picture and stuff. It was okay, not so good. But the Congo and Rwanda peace deal was, they got a peace deal. They murdered 6 million of each, or they got a war going on there. 6 million dead. That's the same number from the Holocaust. But the Democrats now support the anti-Jewish Holocaust. They applaud that. They're with Hamas. They're with Iran. They're not on the side of civilization. They're not liberals. They're the left. But in Congo and Rwanda, the Hutus and the Tutsis. Now, Michael, because we had the Hutus and one side was being massacred. Which side was massacring and which side was doing the massacre? Do you know? You don't know? Okay. I'll get to that a little. I'll give you a clue. Here's a clue. Toot, toot, tootsie, goodbye. I said that's the clue. That should guide you right to the brass ring on that. That's great. But it turns out that Marco Rubio has brokered a peace, and the news media completely ignored it because it might reflect well on the Trump administration and on Marco Rubio and on Republicans. They don't care if millions of Africans are murdered at the Washington Post or the other Democrat strongholds. They could care less. They're the left. They don't care about human life. They're like Vlad the Impaler, Putin, or the Chinese you see the Chinese are having big economic problems. And I heard my great friend Vince Colonnese talking about it on his wonderful radio show the other day, too. And there are a lot of Chinese workers. They call them workers because they're communists. And the Democrats call us all workers, too, here in the United States for the same reason. And it turns out that a lot of Chinese are not being paid. They work, right? Nose to the grindstone. And then they don't get paid. And a whole bunch of Chinese workers, they call them, they were on rooftops of tall buildings that they probably built, threatening to throw themselves off and hurtle to their own deaths, commit suicide on a mass scale, not quite Jonestown, which was Democrats too, racist Democrats, Jim Jones, racist Democrat, socialist communists. They were building a socialist utopia in Guyana. Then they all committed suicide. Now these Chinese workers on rooftops threatening to throw themselves off and kill themselves because they're not being paid. And the Democrats learn nothing from anything. History is not their guide. It's a complete mystery to them. History is mystery, the Democrat Party. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. You know, President Trump, just touching on a few of the things I want to get to today. President Trump has renamed what used to be called the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, the Gulf of America. Because after all, it's surrounded by America. It's not surrounded by Mexico. It's got Mexico flanking on, over there, one part of the Gulf of America now. Well, President Trump is traveling to the Middle East soon, to Saudi Arabia and to beautiful Saudi Arabia on Al Jazeera, the peninsula. And he's going to the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. He's going to visit there. And the headline today is from the angry left, Trump to announce new name for Persian Gulf, officials say. And say going to rename it the Gulf of Arabia, the Gulf of Arabia. Now, here's the thing. I have known for a long, long time, because I pay attention to the news, and I'm not as forgetful as Joe Biden, for example, Kamala Harris, other incredibly dumb, ignorant people. I have a better memory than that most of the time. But it is, it's going to rename it and say it's the Gulf of Arabia. You got Iran on one side. They're the bad guys. You have the Arabian Peninsula on the other side. Why would you name it for the bad guys over there to the east? Why not to the less bad guys over here to the west. And so President Trump, now here's the thing, is going to rename it the Gulf of Arabia. Here's the thing. I went to Google Earth this morning. I love Google Earth. It's an amazing tool and toy. Great fun. Visit your old childhood schools and things like that. Look for Miss Sheehan. See if Miss Sheehan's still there. But she's not. I can't find her on Google Earth. One of my favorite teachers, crush on Miss Sheehan as a kid at the Lions School. But never mind that. The Gulf of Arabia that name has been used by the U.S. military for a long time and by the Saudis in Saudi Arabia. As you may be aware, I spent several months in Saudi Arabia long ago now, after Saddam Hussein invaded the 19th province, also known as Kuwait. I was dispatched to Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, and spent a few months there, getting ready for all the big dust up. But the Gulf of Arabia, that's been on maps, U.S. military maps and Saudi maps for a long, long time. President Trump said he's going to recognize the Arabs with the Gulf of Arabia and take the title away from Iran, the Persian Gulf, because, he likes to stir things up, I think. Pretty. And President Trump, hilarious, this really was funny yesterday. Barack Obama's trying to build the Barack Obama Library in Chicago. Is that the library? Is it called the library? The Barack Obama Library in Chicago. And he hired a bunch of DEI, left-wing organizations to build it. And it's a complete disaster. It looks like it's already a post-apocalyptic ruin because they can't get it together because they're left-wing radicals. But President Trump made a very generous offer to Barack Obama yesterday. And it was pretty funny. I got to say, I saw him doing it live, and I just laughed out loud. I thought it was great. Wonderful stuff. President Trump. Funny. Also, did you see Lady Gaga? You know her. She used to sing songs, I think. Big, gigantic concert on Copacabana Beach in Rio, in Brazil. And there was a terrorist who was plotting to attack it and murder as many people as possible. He's been captured. The plot has been stopped. But did you know the most important detail about the would-be mass murderer, the would-be terrorist? That's coming up. We're at 888-630-9625.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Still watch 395 north out of King Street. A lot of activity on the right shoulder from the crash. They were in the process of picking up the cones in that right lane. Inner loop after 202. That crash was moved to the shoulder. Still heavy out of New Carrollton. 270 jammed on the spur to join the outer loop heading toward the American Legion Bridge. No change on I-70. Eastbound remains shut down and diverted at I-97 before you can get to Route 32 in West Trench. A serious crash from earlier this morning. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com. The WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
A mix of sun and clouds today with a high 78, partly cloudy overnight, low 58.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Why did I wait so long to see a retina specialist?
Retinal disease can steal your eyesight, but it doesn't have to. Patients who seek care from a retina specialist have the best chance of preventing vision loss due to age-related macular degeneration or diabetic retinopathy. AMD symptoms to look out for are distortion or warping of straight lines, as well as blurred or loss of central vision. Patients with diabetic retinopathy should seek treatment if they notice the appearance of spots or floaters or blurred and distorted vision. Visit seeforalifetime.org.
Let's see, something different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania.
I'm Haley Carania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat, and I love my long scrolls on my phone at night. The show is literally called Nightly Scroll. My screen time has reached astronomical levels, but I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else. I don't want to be surrounded by an echo chamber, so I hope you join me. Someone just said the show is great. Keep it up. Thank you. I will.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
WMAL, more than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
All right, let us go to the telephones, Michael, and talk to the nice American people. Although there might be a crazy Democrat calling in, let's from the asylum. But no, we've got a normal person. Let's go to Matt calling from St. Louis, Missouri. Matthew, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris. Happy Hump Day in Democratopia. Hey, so these crazy politicians and the Golden Stream media and MSN 13 who all want men and women's sports, I wonder if they think it'd be okay for someone to say, oh, forget what my chromosomes say. I identify as a Down syndrome person, and then go and steal Special Olympic medals. Or if a full-bodied, intact limb person said, oh, I identify as a military veteran amputee, and went and stole Invictus Games medals. Or if a bunch of Major League Baseball players got together and said, oh, we identify as 10-year-olds, and then went and stole the Little League World Series trophy. And if they were okay with all that, then I would say, well, in that case, the January 6th people were just identifying as members of Congress, trying to claim their rightful place in the chamber to vote against the certification of a corrupt election.
Well, if they had merely been identifying as Democrats, then the Democrat Party would applaud it and say that was all free speech. Since they had just finished burning cities from Seattle and Portland to Miami and Atlanta and Washington, D.C. and looting and plundering. So they made that all normal. They made it all fine. Now, I got to say, Matt, I think you raise a really fun question that Democrats should have to answer. And, believe it or not, there was a movie called The Ringer made in 2005. And it's about the very thing that you described, as a matter of fact. with a guy named Johnny Knoxville. And he pretends that he's, as bright as a Democrat so he could compete in the Special Olympics.
This is the Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center, 395. All lanes reopened now. Northbound at King Street, crash remains on the shoulder. Heavy again at the inbound 14th Street Bridge. Linton Hall Road remains closed north of Nokesville Road at Saybrook Drive for the serious crash. Keep alert on 270 southbound bunching up just past Route 80. Urbana slows again on the spur to join the outer loop. And leaving Frederick, eastbound 70 still closed and diverted at 97 for a serious crash. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
A mix of sun and clouds today with a high 78, partly cloudy overnight, low 58.
Hey there, I'm Paula Pant, host of the Afford Anything podcast. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible.
You should not do the 401k loan.
Reason number 4,872. Are we heading for a recession?
You'd be shocked.
Dumping it into the house?
Invest in flipping houses.
Mathematically the better option.
Paula Pant's really keeping us in business.
Because face it, money's too important to wing. Review your budget.
Take the reins.
Sharpen your skills.
Do the thing.
Start a side hustle
that will affect your life.
Right. Afford Anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania.
I'm Haley Carania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat, and I love my long scrolls on my phone at night. The show is literally called Nightly Scroll. My screen time has reached astronomical levels, but I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else. I don't want to be surrounded by an echo chamber, so I hope you join me. Someone just said the show is great. Keep it up. Thank you. I will.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Former MLB All-Star Sean Casey, a.k.a. The Mayor, keeps hitting it out of the park.
Take my 30 years of experience. Take the wisdom and knowledge I've learned from the failures when I got sent down my rookie year, all the injuries I had to overcome. Your mind is the most important tool you have in life. Be relentless. Keep charging. It matters how you talk to yourself, how you look at the world. That matters. We talk about that. I don't know. I'm fired up. Baseball's back, and it's going to be incredible. I love it.
The Mayor's Office with Sean Casey from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus.
Come on, DA.
Service message from
Bring
the
your
Department of
fucking
Defense.
pizza face cratered fucking acne face up here. That look like them motherfuckers are sagging.
Because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
That's the radio playing that.
The Democrat Party. They're still the Confederate States of America. They haven't changed at all, have they? No, they haven't. Yeah, but a story out of Brazil, where they have a lot of Brazilians and they have a lot of beaches, and they have Rio de Janeiro and Copacabana Beach, and Barry Manilow wrote a song about it, so it's got to be a big beach. But it's kind of an amazing story for a couple of reasons, and I see that one of our great callers, one of our great listeners, has called in to talk about this too. And Michael, before I give away, I don't want to give away too early what's going on, because the terrorist arrested for plotting a massacre at a Lady Gaga concert, Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, has been arrested. And a couple of interesting things about it. But I see that Steve has called in from Brookville, Maryland, and Steve has some thoughts because he just heard what I was saying about the plot to massacre people at the Lady Gaga concert in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And Steve has some thoughts on the subject. So we decided let's go to Steve calling from Brookville, Maryland. Stephen, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I have not heard this, so I have a multiple choice. So the perpetrator is probably A, a member of Tren de Aragua. B, he was wearing a ski mask and a MAGA hat. C, he was a father from Maryland. D, he was trans. Or E, all of the above.
Wow, that's pretty good. You know,
possibly I left out Democrat.
Yeah, you get left out. It is Rio de Janeiro. It's a little far away, but it is it's a distinct possibility. There's no doubt about that. Now listen to this, because CNN is all over the story, and they've got a portion of the story, but not the whole story, because everything they do is political. And here's the CNN people: Lady Gaga bomb plot targeted LGBTQ crowd. Third person planned Satanist ritual child killing, Brazil authorities say. Now, here's the thing. Now, and I've got to say, Steve, for me, and this is kind of interesting. A bomb, they got guns. Now, the Democrat Party runs after-school Satan Club in the United States of America at schools for the kids because they worship Satan and Planned Parenthood and Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and the jihadis and Hamas. The Democrat Party is on the side of evil everywhere. But CNN is wound up about this, and they said one of the arrested these guys, right? And they're not women, they're guys, and they identify as guys apparently. One of those searched was the man who allegedly planned on killing a child or a baby, like Rosemary's Baby, during the concert, as he claimed that Gaga was a Satanist and he wanted to respond in the same way, according to police officer Maria Luisa Machado. And he was also charged with terrorism, including crime, including crime. Now, that would make sense. Terrorism is a crime in Brazil, I think, too, right? But CNN does not write. They don't do journalism there. So 2 of the search warrants were as a result of a coordinated action with the U.S. consulate. Why would the U.S. consulate be involved in arresting a terrorist in Brazil that was going to attack a Lady Gaga concert? That's kind of crazy, isn't it? Just the U.S. consulate, who warned Brazilian authorities about potential threats, according to the Rio de Janeiro civil police. Now, Danny Morella Tritton one of the millions of Lady Gaga fans that attended the concert, told CNN's Julia Vargas Jones, she has 3 names, that the fact that the group actively wanted to target the LGBTQ population left a bitter taste in my mouth. Now, that just opens up all kinds of responses, doesn't it? I mean, why would you? Come on, let's talk about this. Send, hey, rewrite, but emphasize that Gaga bringing queer joy to Rio de Janeiro was an important statement as the world turns more conservative. See that, and the implication of that line is, it's conservatives who were plotting the attack, and they were going to sacrifice a baby in a Satanist ritual. Classic conservative move, according to CNN. That's what they're peddling here, because they're not a news organization. They're a Democrat Party, a left-wing front group. So 2 people arrested on suspicion of planning an attack at Lady Gaga concert, Rio de Janeiro. We're targeting LGBTQ plus people, especially the plus. That's the ones who really had them going. The police said. Now, the CNN people, they don't know quite what to say, but here's the what I thought was kind of a fascinating element in all of this. The New York Post has a very different version of the story because they respect facts and truth and news, like the Hunter Biden laptop story that CNN tried to bury in a shallow grave in the desert near Las Vegas. But here's the headline from the good people of the New York Post. Suspected terrorist accused of planning to kill fans at Lady Gaga concert, ID'd as immigrant, recently deported from U.S. I'm sorry, what? So the guy was an illegal alien from Brazil living in the United States, and the Democrats invited him in. The Democrats want this to happen here. They want the bomb, machine gun, mass murder, suicide plot to happen here. And then, like CNN, they can say, it's conservatives, right? Because, January 6th, never mind everything from shooting John F. Kennedy to the riots in Minneapolis. But so a suspected terrorist who allegedly planned to kill Lady Gaga fans in a sickening attack on her record-breaking Brazil concert had been deported from the U.S. only last month. So wait a minute. He was illegally in the U.S. and the Trump administration deported him. And the Democrat Party, like CNN here, they're attacking conservatives. Must be a conservative. Right? He was deported from the U.S. just last month. Brazilian authorities have revealed. Luis de Silva, 44 years old, wanted to live stream the execution of children. Now, that's a Democrat. That's definitely a Democrat thing. They give out awards for massacring more babies every year. They do. The Margaret Sanger Award. They've actually stopped giving out the Margaret Sanger Award, but they gave one to Hillary Clinton. She's the proud recipient of a Margaret Sanger Award. Who else is a proud recipient? Hanoi Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda, proud recipient of she's a genocidal racist and a hero of the Democrat Party, founder of Planned Parenthood. But the guy, suspected terrorist, now arrested plotting the attack, was deported from the United States just last month. Not under Joe Biden. He probably came in under Joe Biden, but Luis de Silva, 44 years old, wanted to live stream the execution of children and set up bombs close to the stage during Lady Gaga's performance, allegedly to 2.5 million fans there for the concert on Copacabana Beach in Rio de Janeiro.
1990, that picture was taken. 1990.
The singer was a Satanist, and that he was going to perform a Satanist ritual too, killing a child during the show. See, the Rio de Janeiro police said. And the New York Post has the story, so you can trust that, unlike the CNN version. Now, authorities are investigating why De Silva was removed from the United States. De Silva and a 17-year-old boy were taken into custody just hours before the concert went ahead after authorities uncovered their alleged murderous plot. The murderous plot, you see. The pair allegedly used Discord. That's a chat function. It's on Al Gore's Amazing Internet. I blame Al Gore. To try to radicalize others, including teenagers, to carry out attacks against children and members of the LGBTQ plus community who were attending the concert. I don't know how many were attending. They plan to use Molotov cocktails. That's definitely Democrat work there. You know, usually they're firebombing Jewish governors in the governor's mansion and things like that. And explosive backpacks. Probably not the backpacks explosive, but they put bombs in there, you know. So De Silva was arrested on an illegal gun possession, and that was the charge when they got him in the southern state of Rio Grande do Sul. And he was released on bail on Monday because they have lefties there. Hey, let's let him go, sparking fury from local officials. So he was the leader of a group. The group he led also promoted pedophilia, Democrats, misogyny, Democrats, and LGBT phobia. Sounds like hostility rather than an irrational fear, doesn't it? Through social media. In addition, at the time of his arrest, he was in possession of an illegal firearm. A congressman from Sao Paulo said, isn't that amazing? So the suspected teen accomplice was arrested for possession of child pornography, right, at his home in Rio de Janeiro. It isn't known if he's still in police custody. Child pornography. That reminds me, I didn't even get to the story yesterday, that another Democrat mayor in Maryland was arrested on child pornography charges. And is he out on bail yet? Because, you know, the Democrats love to let everybody out on bail. But there's another Democrat, because we had one Democrat mayor in College Park, Maryland, that was arrested on like 146 counts or something of child pornography. And he was a Democrat mayor elected to be mayor of College Park, where there's a college, as you might imagine, the University of Maryland. Why else would you call it College Park? And so he was, and that guy was, we had those two stories yesterday in our collection, but the Democrats, they're completely insane. So now
comes the mailman.
Democrat mayor elected by Democrats in Maryland, who has been arrested on child pornography charges. Now, I thought of that because I was reading about the terrorists in Brazil. They're arrested on the same charges. And isn't that amazing? Because they're really out of their minds. And the new mayor from Maryland, it's one of the Democrat stories. You can't narrow it down anymore. It's hey, Democrats, what do we have here? You know, murder, terrorism, child porn, the usual stuff. Isn't that amazing? They truly are. They are something. So also the Democrats they're in trouble in the polls. That can only lead to bad things, can it? So we've got the University Park mayor has been indicted on charges of producing child sexual abuse.
I've been
images. Another Democrat.
I've been there.
Rio de Janeiro.
I lived in Finksburg, University Park. I've been there.
For example, Joel
I lived in Maryland
Bierman,
for about 8 months.
Of University Park, Maryland, accused of persuading and coercing multiple victims to engage in sexually explicit conduct.
Broke a bone in my foot. They wouldn't let me work, so I had to come home.
Naturally. So he is the now former mayor of University Park, Maryland, and he's been indicted by a federal grand jury, charges of producing and distributing images of child sexual abuse. Because, you know, Democrats, this is the thing about Democrats, and this Democrat is called Joel Bierman. He was elected as a Democrat. He ran as a Democrat. Again, he's hanging out in University Park, where you might find a lot of
I got black coffee.
And that's quite remarkable. You know, it's pretty amazing stuff. And he goes with the other mayor, the other mayor of College Park. He was arrested maybe 2 years ago now on 140 something counts of child pornography himself. This is a guy who was visiting the Biden White House again and again, and is a longtime friend of Pete Buttigieg, who is LGBTQ. He's in the gated community as well. But the Democrat Party, they produce a lot of these people and a lot of these things. And this guy, he visited the the Biden White House repeatedly, and he had at least once been invited by Pete Buttigieg, and he would do funky, weird, kinky sexual poses on the South Lawn and take pictures and post them. And he was the mayor of College Park, Maryland, because the Democrat Party, they're not normal. They're not the good guys. Boy. Yeah, so that again, they arrested this guy in the University Park. You got University Park, then you have College Park, because the mayor of College Park, Maryland, not to be confused with University Park, possessed child sex abuse materials, agrees to be disbarred in Maryland. He wanted to be disbarred. That is pretty amazing. That was actually an update from just last month, from March of 2025, the Baltimore Banner covering the story. Patrick Wohan, a Democrat, served as mayor from 2015 to 2023. Patrick Wohan, now the former mayor of College Park, Maryland, resigned after law enforcement executed a search and seizure warrant and discovered a very large quantity of child sexual abuse materials on his cell phone. He's agreed to be disbarred in Maryland. What do you mean agreed to? He's got to agree to it? Well, he doesn't agree to be disbarred. Well, we just can't do anything. He hasn't agreed to be disbarred. So that's two Democrat mayors in two Maryland towns, both named for University Park and College Park, because there are colleges and universities there where you find a lot of young people, and the Democrats, creepy stalkers that they are. And it's good to be a Democrat because none of this becomes national news. In the meantime, in Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., we've got another story of a young woman who's decided she's a young man and she's using the young man's locker room and shower room. The young men objected, and now the Democrats are going to crucify the young men for raising an eyebrow that a fake boy, actual girl, is in their locker room. Because the Democrat Party is anti-science, anti-biology, anti-culture, anti-civilization, anti-male, and certainly anti-gender. They're a screwy bunch. Screwy, I tell you. Also, we have updates coming from the Vatican in Rome, where the conclave is beginning today to select a new pope. And I will update you on that as well. 888-630-9625.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Fairfax County Parkway starting to bunch up now to head through the work zone southbound approaching Pope's Head Road. Roadwork slowing northbound 123 Ox Road before the Fairfax County Parkway. Road crews are getting ready to set up each direction on the Beltway near the Georgetown Pike. Inner loop volume out of Tyson's. Outer loop were slow as you leave Bethesda and off the 270 spur. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
A mix of sun and clouds today with a high 78, partly cloudy overnight, low 58.
Clarity and context for a complex world.
I'm going to be far more thorough and specific than ever before.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember,
tastes good though after eating that chocolate and peanut butter and coffee.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory.
Michelle Obama admits she's transgender.
Weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day.
All right, I have a gopher outside. He's pretty big. Yesterday, he come waltzing down my porch like he was one of the cats. Looked right in my window. I got a golfer and he's not afraid of me.
The show is literally called Nightly Scroll. My screen time has reached astronomical levels, but I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else. I don't want to be surrounded by an echo chamber, so I hope you join me. Someone just said the show is great. Keep it up. Thank you. I will.
Nightly Scroll with Haley, Karen, follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Well, your buddy Loglicker wants my attention, so I'm going to give it to him. That motherfucker, he had to burn his dick. Wiggin and Rusty did a complete troll job on the guy. His name, his address, his picture. Oh, Monica stepped in fucking Vegas chat when she seen that, unblocked me to make a comment. Oh, we've seen Logical plenty of times. Fuck you, Monica. Fuck everything that has to do with Monica Ann Felder. You fucking fat, overgrown bitch out here fucking talking about all your fucking life issues and nobody cares. And then there's you, hey girl. You want to call me an angry spammer? You're welcome to come up here and talk to me. Come on, hey girl. Come on up here and tell me how I'm an angry spammer.
Happy kids heal faster.
I hardly even address you. Well, I did the other day.
Toy deliveries and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Like I'm supposed to be heartbroken because Monica blocks me.
United States Marine Corps. Stand ready.
So it's obvious Monica is part of FDU. It's weird.
The proud, the Marines.
Because Logical stuck up Rusty's ass and vice versa. They both fucking kiss each other's ass. It's just, you know, this person's friend with this person, but one of them person's not friend with the other. But, you know, fuck you, hey girl. I told you, daughter of truth, what it was all about. Way back in JC's when all that happened. And JC gave you that wrench and everything. Everything I said was true, daughter of truth.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's
JC begging me to come to her panel. No.
More friendships, experiences, and purpose.
All I'll ever do is come in to troll, JC, and the best you can do is time me out.
When you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource.
You can't take it.
Help bring a fulfilling path.
You guys can sit there and clone my mother and all that shit, but you can't take it. You really can't. Logical wants to brag that I block him. All fucking FDU blocks me, and they talk crap.
Yes. Democrats, they
just move to fucking Saudi Arabia, Logical. Just fucking move somewhere to the Middle East. Maybe Morocco and Africa.
Joel Bierman of University Park, right? Not to be confused with the other Democrat mayor of College Park, which is completely different. But this one, the latest, because Patrick Wohan, he captured, it's just amazing, mayor until 2023, visitor to the Biden White House repeatedly. It's good to be a Democrat because if a Republican had the same circumstance, every American would know every.
I got a subject I'm going to talk about here in a minute.
Into everyone's head day after
and it has to do with Wiggin claiming, I'm not going to fight your battles for you, Billy.
All over again. But this
Charlie,
one,
they all fight each other's battles. I timed you out, Charlie.
Just amazing.
Go white knight for DA somewhere else.
Devices. They said they found 45,000.
Told you, Charlie, I'm sick of you.
Child sexual abuse.
Till I see you post something to
the files by
Logical there in Vegas chat, Charlie. I let you go this morning. Get the fuck out of my face, you fat fucker. I smash you.
College town. And he's the second Democrat mayor of a second.
You fucking think you own my chat? You don't.
With the same set of circumstances. Now, if that were, you just change that Democrat to Republican, and it's a giant story. Again, they had more than 550 riots across the country, and the news media told us they were mostly peaceful. until Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed at the Capitol.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News. WMAL News at 10. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. We're learning new developments in what had been reported as a home invasion burglary in Spotsylvania County this past weekend.
18-year-old Michael Bosworth was shot and killed. Another teen was hurt, and a third was not injured. The homeowner telling police he opened fire thinking that there was a break-in. Well, now court documents revealed that the teens say they were actually playing a prank called Ding Dong Ditch, recording themselves, ringing doorbells, and then running away. They plan to post the video on TikTok. The homeowner, 27-year-old Tyler Chase Butler, is now facing several charges, including second-degree murder. He's being held without bond.
7 News' Adam Longo. Don't expect to see Frederick County chasing Loudoun and Prince William to become a data center capital. The Frederick County Council, has voted unanimously to limit all future data center growth to a small area making up less than 1% of the total land in the county.
Our residents have been clear that they will accept a reasonable level of data center development, but they will not tolerate the sprawl that occurred in Northern Virginia.
County Executive Jessica Fitzwater. The legislation also gives county lawmakers powerful tools to prevent future sprawl. Federal immigration officials made their presence felt at several D.C. restaurants Tuesday, including we hear at Chef Jeff's in Upper Northwest D.C. Looking for information about immigration status for employees, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
It appears that ICE is at restaurants or even in neighborhoods, and it doesn't look like they're targeting criminals. And so it is disrupting. I want to be clear, this is not an MPD action, no MPD activity involved.
Immigrant advocates remind workers they have the right to remain silent and to seek a lawyer. There were no reports of any arrests. The Montgomery County Council looking to prevent the wild parties that cropped up in quiet neighborhoods in the county last summer.
These promoted commercial events that are at times sexually explicit, where over 1,000 people paid to attend with full-on bottle service.
Councilmember Andrew Friedson, representing Bethesda Chevy Chase Potomac, co-sponsor Don Lutke, says the fine didn't fit.
We are increasing the fine for such conduct from $500 to $5,000. We added a zero.
The public can weigh in before a final vote. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
Some slightly better than expected news for Fairfax County homeowners.
Instead of a previously proposed property tax hike, the board voted to decrease the property tax rate by 1/4 cent. But board member Pat Harity says the average homeowner will be paying almost $500 more because assessments are higher. The budget helps close a nearly $300 million deficit through a new 4% meals tax. McKay says it will provide a new revenue stream without increasing property tax rates, but Harity says it will bring the total tax on prepared food to 10% when you factor in the sales tax. Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
The Associated Press reports President Trump will announce next week during a visit to Saudi Arabia that the U.S. will refer to the Persian Gulf from now on as the Arabian Gulf. Arab nations have been pushing for that change for some time. The Dow is up 238 points, NASDAQ up 58. Traffic and weather next.
Blowing out your birthday candles should be easy, but if you have undiagnosed COPD, you may find yourself short of breath. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years to your life. If you have symptoms like wheezing or chronic cough, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke. When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Jamie Witten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Watch for delays off the 270 spurring out of Bethesda to get you past River Road. Virginia, road crews are set up on the Fairfax County Parkway. Southbound direction jammed approaching Pope's Head Road. Northbound on 123 Ox Road. Stop and go to get past the work zone approaching the Fairfax County Parkway. 395 North, heavy across the 14th Street Bridge to emerge onto the freeway. It's a work zone set up before the 3rd Street Tunnel. Leaving Frederick, no change. Eastbound 70 still closed and diverted at 97 for a serious crash and cleanup. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Plenty of sunshine for the remainder of the afternoon, mid-70s to around 80 degrees. Passing clouds overnight. Tomorrow, rain arrives in the afternoon and evening, 75 to 80, with areas of wet weather continuing into Friday. I'm Steve Meteorologist Steve Rubin, the First Alert Weather Center.
68 at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews. 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plank.
Wow.
Trump also had one of his triumphant signing ceremonies where he sits at a desk and signs papers like a big shot. This time he busted out the big presidential Sharpie for an executive order raising awareness of mental health.
This is just a proclamation declaring this month to be National Mental Health Awareness Month.
I wonder if he realizes that the reason we even need a mental health month is because of him.
Yes, wrong again. They're just wrong about it. Are we going to be wrong about everything? Go ahead and be wrong about everything. There's a Jimmy. No, you were mentally ill long before he came down the escalator, and you continue to be mentally ill. Your demented, violently, criminally insane sexual dysphoria has nothing to do with Donald Trump. It's all on you. In fact, part of your mental illness is blaming President Trump for all of your problems. Aren't they amazing? Yes, sir. Well, happy hump day to you. It is Wednesday in America. Welcome back. We remain at 888-630-9625. Absolutely toll-free to you, our beloved and valued listeners out there in America and beyond. We have had callers from all over the world. And yesterday we were talking about the Pulitzer Prizes, what a joke they have become. And we talked about the Bulldog Awards because we had our great friend Tim Graham from the Media Research Center and Newsbusters on the radio program yesterday, announcing the winners of the annual Bulldog Awards, the Bulldog Awards, for people who are doing real journalism and really seeking the truth, unlike the Pulitzer Prize, which is a joke. In fact, did you see that the Pulitzer Prize committee, they did not give the award for photography to the Associated Press photographer that got the photograph, the iconic, famous, epic, historic photograph of President Trump after he was shot through the ear in Butler, Pennsylvania by a Democrat suicide attacker. The photograph of Trump with his fist in the air and blood streaming down the side of his head because he had just been shot through the ear. And the American flag, the giant American flag behind him. And everybody knows the photograph. It is literally iconic. I mean, it was compared to the raising of the flag on Iwo Jima, Mount Suribachi, and other iconic photographs. And the Pulitzer Committee did not give the Pulitzer Prize to the photographer who shot definitely the most famous photograph of the year by far. And he was denied the honor that he was due. Everybody knows that, they're crooked. The Pulitzer Prizes for they go to left-wing work. And one of the prizes did go to somebody who shot photos that day at that location, but not the famous iconic photo, because they're not on the side of civilization. Pretty amazing stuff. And I saw this story yesterday. I said, oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. It's shocking and appalling. There's the old turn of phrase. It's shocking and appalling, both shocking and appalling. I find it appalling, but not shocking at all.
Moham head.
Amazing. Now, there was another photographer there who shot a photograph and just happened to get a shot of the bullet whizzing through the air.
Yeah, this is an all-American chat.
Democrat was shooting rifle rounds in a suicide attack at President Trump, who was on stage in Butler, Pennsylvania. But pretty amazing that they didn't give it to the person with the most famous photo of the year. Because, they're not on the side of good. They're not on the side of truth. They're on the side of something altogether different. Pretty amazing stuff. Now, the people at the New York Post, they have the story. The Washington Post does not. MAGA world sees red after iconic Trump assassination attempt photo snubbed for a Pulitzer Prize. Quote, so telling, end quote. And it certainly is very telling, because that even just still photography, they corrupt everything they touch. The Pulitzer Prize is corrupt. The Nobel Peace Prize was given to Barack Obama.
You guys are welcome to use Trump's pictures in your avatar, especially the one where after he was shot.
And then he
fucking ain't right.
The U.S. military to attack 8 countries, a greater number of countries.
You motherfuckers, try to shoot him again. Watch what happens.
Nobel Peace Prize joke. What do they give? Who do they give?
Citizens about ready to take law into their own hand, and we have a right to do it.
For music, and the Kendrick Lamar music that they gave him the Pulitzer Prize for, because they wanted to show they were hipsters or something. The music we can't even play on the radio.
I'm willing to die for this. I take your life for this. We ain't going back to broke, family selling dope. That's why you many-ass rap better know.
Yes, Pulitzer Prize for him. The Pulitzer Committee has its head wedged into one another's dark and remote locations. They're doing a conga line. Rio de Janeiro Beach, I think. But supporters of President Trump are seeing red after the iconic fight, fight, fight photo taken moments after President Trump narrowly survived an assassination attempt last summer was snubbed by Pulitzer Prize judges. The photo, taken by Associated Press photographer Evan Vucci, maybe they're anti-Italian, captured the heroic moment that the then candidate stood up after being struck by an assassin's bullet at a July 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, yelling, "Fight, fight, fight," with his fist raised and his face bloodied before he was ushered off stage. Evan Vucci's photograph of Donald Trump after last summer's assassination attempt is iconic, maybe the single most famous photo of the past decade, said conservative influencer Charlie Kirk on X. And it's absolutely true. And maybe the most iconic photo in a decade. And the Pulitzer people said, nope, it makes Trump look too good. And they don't want photos of Trump looking good to become iconic, which is why they buried it and attacked it when it happened. They would, they'd like more of the same. That's the thing. And Charlie Kirk said, but because it made Trump look good, the Pulitzer Prize Committee just refused to give it the award. Isn't that amazing? Well, it's appalling. Again, it's appalling, but not shocking. So it did not get the award for best breaking news photograph of 2024. Total joke, Charlie Kirk said. Charlie Kirk is right again, correct again. Senator Mike Lee, the senator, a Republican from Utah, also felt that biased jurists were at work on the Pulitzer Committee. No kidding.
I'm watching what's going on in Vegas.
That's tragic
I see
Senator
what's
Reese
going
said.
on.
Other conservatives online agreed that the photo was snubbed because it made Trump look too good,
Excuse me.
which worried liberals
Weather.
during the lead up to the election. One photo editor at a major
Fucking
news
pollen
outlet
is thick already.
feared the historic photo would be used as propaganda for the MAGA movement that could, quote, further their agenda. I got to tell you, these people are vile, violent criminals. Are they all criminals? Well, maybe not all of them, but how many of them are? Well, a great many, that's for sure. The anonymous editor who said that claimed that it was dangerous for media organizations to keep sharing the photo despite how good they are. The left-wingers at Axios reported. The Pulitzer for breaking news photography was awarded to New York Times photographer Doug Mills for his work at the same rally. But he didn't get the iconic picture. They just gave it to him because he's not the guy that got the iconic picture that makes Trump look too heroic for the left, who had just shot him. But never mind that. Doug Mills has been around as a news photographer forever and ever. I met Doug Mills a few times, but not for a long time. Mills won the honor for snaps that captured the split second that a bullet fired by Thomas Crooks, who shot Donald Trump, whizzed by the head of Donald Trump as he spoke at the podium. And it's a cool photograph because he captured the bullet flying by, because he's got a very high-speed shutter, a digital shutter, very high speed. So just happened to be down shooting with a wide-angle lens below the president when he was speaking. There was a huge flag waving right above his head, and I just happened to be taking pictures at the same time, Doug Mills told Fox News, and that's absolutely correct. Days after the assassination attempt on Trump, Doug Mills isn't being dishonest, and it's a good photograph, but the Pulitzer Prize Committee is corrupt. You know why it's corrupt? Because it's staffed with Democrats, because Democrats have taken over the awards committee at the Pulitzer Prize people, and they corrupt everything they touch. Amazing stuff. So just amazing. Yeah, Doug Mills said, then I heard the pops. I guess I kept hitting on the shutter. Yeah, it's all automatic. It's battery operated. No, you're not too impressed with yourself, I hope. And then I saw him reach for his ear. He grimaced and grabbed his hand and looked. It was blood. And then he went down, and I thought, dear God, he's been shot, Doug Mills said. Nothing gets by him, huh? That's pretty good. Mills revealed to Fox News that they're promoting the camera, Sony A1 camera to capture. It's not just the camera, I think. You got to have the lens and the speed, but never mind that. These people. All right, Michael, let's take a telephone call. It's also Wednesday. It's hump day. You know what that means in the Clinton household. Hillary has to get to the house early after waking up face down in a pool of her own dried vomit on the linoleum kitchen floor next to an empty 1-gallon cardboard box of cheap New Zealand Chardonnay.
Yeah, fuck you, JC, you bitch.
Coming in or somebody, but yeah, that means
sick of you, JC.
Mailbag day here on the Chris Plant Show.
I don't want you on my panel.
Questions.
I'm glad you don't fucking come up. You only came up here the other day because Gotti. You're fucking following Gotti.
Another telephone call.
Chicken shit, motherfuckers.
Calling from Charleston, South Carolina.
Hey!
Scott, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Charleston.
Oh, good morning, Chris. I would remind you it's also Prince Spaghetti Day.
I got to go to
Prince
Charleston.
Spaghetti. Wednesday is Prince Spaghetti Day.
In Boston's North End.
That's right. That's right. Anthony.
Chris, I was reminded of Sinclair Lewis in 1926, May 6th, rejected the Pulitzer Prize that he had been awarded. And I would just I would invite everybody to read his rejection letter, but I'll read you one or two snippets. All prizes, like all titles, are dangerous. The seekers for prizes tend to labor not for inherent excellence, but for alien rewards. They tend to write this or timorously to avoid writing that in order to tickle the prejudices of a haphazard committee. And there's a lot of good stuff in there in this letter.
These
of
are
rejection
chairs
of
to the
this
table
Pulitzer
I'm
Prize.
sitting at.
That's worth reading.
And they're
Well, he was a
barstool chairs.
talented
This is a
writer,
raised
so naturally,
table.
when he rejects the Pulitzer Prize, he's going to write a nice piece about declining the Main Street burglary, right? Which
yes,
he wrote, and they wanted to give him the Pulitzer Prize, and he wasn't impressed, I've got to say. And back then it was probably not even just a lucite block.
Correct. Correct.
A metal statuette, no doubt. Well, that's really fun. I got to tell you, there are a lot of people that wrote all their fake news stories. They got the Pulitzer Prize last year and the year before and the year before that, writing about Russian collusion. Which
There, I got a halo now.
Writing lies about the Hunter Biden laptop and being given prizes for
right there. Come on, DA, bring your fucking crater face up here.
Misinformation,
acne survivor. Come on, DA, show your fucking face.
But that's fun.
And see if you can be made fun of and take it.
Sinclair Lewis,
huh?
The Pulitzer
See how
Prize.
fucking thick your skin is. Come on, boy.
Today, do we?
You don't. No, you sure don't.
It'd be nice.
Hey, you guys can talk about JC all you want in my side chat.
But the Democrats would firebomb your house if you proposed. Aren't they amazing?
She's not a friendly neighbor.
Great call.
No, she's the angry spammer. There, hey girl.
And the police didn't shoot. I don't understand that.
I got this pretty loud.
I don't know.
Let me turn this down for a minute. Let me talk. Yeah, hey girl, your fucking friend JC. She's the angry spammer. And I'm gonna make that clone. Because that's what her and her friends all do. And Logical is her friend. Logical is doing that on JC's behalf in Vegas chat. And I'll guarantee you most people have his fucking stupid shit blocked. You're a bunch of chicken shits. I'm one person. I don't need a gang of people. Duh, Logical's got friends. Duh. Yeah, look at the friends he's got. What, Hitesh Tomar? Can't wait for a jihadist to get a hold of him wanting to slice his head off. He'll be converting to Islam just like that. Yes, sir. He'll be fucking kissing their ass and sucking their dick and fucking camels. Won't you, Hitesh? I just insulted your little friend, Zenny. I know you're all about the Indians, but, they're wrong, Zenny. Your freedom depends on Americans. You fuckers in England, your freedom depends on us. Fuck you, JC. Why don't you bring 6 feet under up here with you? Or bring that fucking AP guy constantly on Mary Bernie. Hey, Mary Bernie, why don't you step aside for a minute? Too chicken shit to come up here, Mary, aren't you? I'll let you up, Mary. You know I will. Now, I'm not doing this to get views. It's not why I'm here. If I was going to do that, I'd monetize my fucking... Yeah, I'd want the money. I am your content. Do something. What are you going to do, Acid Drip? What the hell did you even move for? You British fucks are fucked in the head. At least the ones in here. The good ones are on the radio or they have their own podcast. The Sky News team, those people are great. They crack me up when I watch them. They fucking
inside of Jack Husband.
Not commercial.
Black Sabbath was a huge influence, and thank God you liked it, boy. Yeah. Elijah Wood. Peter gets on the phone. Elijah, would you like to play the role further? Did you cry? Probably screaming at the top of my lungs. You play iconic characters, Black Canary and Black Siren. Who would you choose?
Probably Black Siren. She's like,
I speak 3 languages. Oh, they threatened me that day. He's got all kinds of clones, and JC admitted it.
Making sense of your money.
JC likes to sit there and deny what she really does. JC uses sock accounts, and she does clone also, along with her little friends.
making sense of the news.
That whole crew over there. All the cloning talk started in the CNN chat with JC.
Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
What would you give for a child you love?
I'm the only one with a wrench in this place. That's unique.
Just imagine what you'd do.
JC claims she could do it. She doesn't do it.
Give a child back their childhood.
She'll have 60 people watching her, nobody posting.
Every single one of us can make the stars align.
You're welcome to post here. If there's a lot of you, and maybe I can't keep up, I really don't give a fuck. Bottom line is, I'm in your head, logical. Patrick Francis Callahan, come to my door.
Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is,
Clinton News Network. Well, you see what's happened to them. They're in the tank.
It's all your choice. So what will you choose?
They need to change their logo.
The military can be a resource
big
for
time.
information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus.
You notice I haven't been in the White House chat. There's a reason for that. Is it,
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors.
What's the sense of beating up on people who have already beaten up on?
Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. They're in the hospital.
They know they're wrong, but they don't care. You're not going to change their mind. They're my enemy. So, the only other choice I have is to kill my enemy.
And change their outlook because happiness matters.
Yeah. And I'm going to, they're also enemy to people that I like, my friends and my family. And people I don't know that I would give my life for. I served my country.
But their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for fast.
They ask that psychological question when you go through a psych evaluation for submarine duty and all the other special services. Green Berets, the SEALs. There's 3 types of SEALs, by the way.
Make every day better than yesterday.
Fleet Diver, EOD, and then the SEALs.
The quality of your life.
The SEALs are the real Marines. They're both Navy and Marine. They fucking train to kill. That's all there is to it. And destroy things. That's their job. It's what you sign up for when you sign that contract going in the military. It asks you, are you a conscientious objector? If you answer yes, you're not going in the military. Because the government's going to want you to kill people.
Do not have it under control.
If you knew Hitler was ready to push the button and you had access to shoot that fucker in the head, you're going to do it. You're not going to wait for. You already have permission from the top guy to do it. Deadly force is authorized.
And then you have high blood pressure. To lower it, you can do a few things.
Kyle Rittenhouse is a fucking hero.
More exercise. Quit smoking for sure. And drink less.
JC, what if Kyle Rittenhouse was your son? What would you say then? What if that was your boy that did that, JC? Or your grandson? I guess he's young enough to be your grandson. You fucking fat lying bitch. JC, you going to tell me on your stream to keep your name out of my mouth? As you advocate for fucking free speech over there? Fuck you. Take away all your wrenches, JC. I dare you. Do a chat tonight. You're the only wrench.
Who does political cartoons, anti-Trump cartoons.
I'll come into your chat.
And she did an anti-Trump, anti-Elon Musk cartoon. That's not a very good cartoon.
Takes 20 people to go against me, and you still can't win.
Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is like a giant North Korean leader on a pedestal. And
too much advertising in that White House chat. That's one of the other. I'm trying to make a comment and upcut, and then I gotta fucking refresh my screen and every fucking thing else. Yeah, fucks your timing up. There ain't gonna be no commercials here. This is a real chat.
I know how I tell you. And the Pulitzer Committee said, "Oh, she's so principled. She does these bad cartoons, but they're anti-Trump." So the photograph that won the Pulitzer. The decision was made because of anti-Trump fury and rage, Trump derangement syndrome.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm being abusive. It's time for me to be abusive.
Because they wouldn't publish her anti-Trump.
I left her chat. Quit going there. didn't want me there,
The Pulitzer people are corrupt.
then fucking begs for me to go there. Wants to be talked about. Well, JC, there's one person that you didn't get to love Logical. So, you know, if JC were my friend, she'd be telling Logical, that was a mistake, me doing that. Please quit using Billy's mother's picture. And she should spam that at the guy. But, you know, tried it with Charlie. Charlie, you're done for, boy. You had your last chance today, Charlie. I'm done with you, boy. You're done. You go hold DA's hand. You're not my buddy. Everybody, Charles William Price is not my friend. He's not my buddy. And I want to fucking smash him right in the face. And if he were standing in front of me right now, I would. Bring DA with you. You're going to need help. Be thankful I'm not fucking 30 years younger and then doing this shit. But then again, I wouldn't be here because I was working all the fucking time. Oh, Charlie's had a heart. He threatened to murder me on Zenny's chat back in 2020. Over Christmas of 2020 into 21, January 2021. That fucker, yeah, he did. Yeah, that's where all the fighting started. And that's where I found out who all these fuckers are. And it's the same people who, you know, got on Wolfie's case for me being in her chat. So I'm never going to take that away from Wolfie. Because she could have very well just taken away and, you know, kicked me out of her chat, you know, and make me not feel welcome. So fuck you, Will Durant. I'm not the one, I got a picture of her ass. Wow, you live in fucking Florida. That's where all the women are. Well, Texas, too. You go in the right places, Texas, there's fucking, they wear Levi jeans down there and it fucking make you drool. You're a coward, DA. All FDU, you're all a bunch of fucking cowards.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon. News Talk 105.9. WMAL, making sense of the news.
What would you give for a child you love?
I haven't had breakfast. I eat peanut butter cups.
Just imagine.
A cup of black coffee.
See, wishes are so powerful. You can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood. Even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Yeah.
This is my Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being
last one.
Become a canine companions for independence assistance dogs for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live.
That thing's small compared to the other ones.
Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life.
You're welcome to come up here, Logical. I'll apologize to you. Come on.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST.
FDU stands for ever dumb and useless. That's what it stands for.
Time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke.
Happy trolling, Charlie.
StrokeAssociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
So Logical has like
all over my family. That's
10 accounts.
Now I'm finding better ways.
Actually, he has 8.
Mental health care works.
So he can open 8 tabs.
Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org.
use them accounts in Vegas to try to spam me out of there.
My baby brother, a father.
Come on, it's time for his
You won't come in this chat.
Baby should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft.
I'll sit there and watch Vegas for an hour. They're just waiting for me.
Yes, I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nicehd.nih.gov.
Well, crack him once for, or crack her once for me, Mike Hunt.
Man, oh man. We've got.
Hey, DA, why do you need Logical to fight your battles?
Crazy Democrats. There's an amazing,
That's a fact.
amazing story today.
Logical needs high test. Who else is in FD? Petro Papadiklis.
The great people, Jim Jordan's committee.
And where are you, Sean Medley?
And Steve Scalise
You stupid drunk fuck.
It's kind of fascinating, really, in its own way, that Steve Scalise slams FBI. Remember the FBI? For mishandling of the 2017 shooting. We bring this up with some regularity. The James Hodgkinson, who shot Congressman Steve Scalise in 2017 at a baseball field in Virginia, while a trainload of Republican members of Congress were practicing for the annual baseball game, the congressional baseball game, Republicans versus Democrats, normally played at Nationals Park, where the Washington Nationals play. And this is the actual audio of the James Hodgkins, a Democrat Party campaign volunteer, a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer, who showed up at the baseball field and asked, hey, are these Republicans or Democrats? And it was explained to him, these are Republicans. It's the Republican baseball team practicing for the annual congressional baseball game. And he went and got his Chinese communist rifle and came back and started shooting the place up. And he shot and nearly killed Congressman Steve Scalise. He was then gunned down by the police detail that was there. Because Steve Scalise at the time was a member of the leadership, still is, of the Republican Party, where he had a U.S. Capitol Police protective detail with him. There were also Virginia, I think, Alexandria Police there. And this Democrat campaign volunteer, James Earl Ray was a Democrat campaign volunteer too when he shot and killed Martin Luther King. But that's not part of the official record because the Democrats have cleansed their own record of themselves and their own behavior. But James Hodgkinson was then gunned down by police and killed. It was a suicide attack, but he was there to massacre every Republican on the baseball field. Kind of amazing, I've got to say. And the story is now out, and Steve Scalise putting out a statement as well. He said in a statement from Steve Scalise's office, last night, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise joined Fox News's.
Oh, I hate that when they fucking do that shit.
Gross mishandling of the 2000.
They blotted out. There's a time delay, and them motherfuckers block that shit out.
Falsely labeled the shooter's clear.
If I had this on the AM radio, it wouldn't do that.
By cop. It was not suicide by cop. Suicide by cop is a term or a turn of phrase that is used in very particular, specific circumstances where someone who is suicidal and wants to die creates an incident, sometimes calling the police on themselves, and then they come out with a gun or looking menacing, attacking with a knife or something, attack the police. That's when Joe Biden says, if somebody's unarmed and attacking you with a knife, because Joe Biden doesn't know what these words mean. But the FBI came in and said, oh, that's not a political terrorist attack. It's not an attempted mass political assassination, which is exactly what it was. But the FBI decided to label it suicide by cop. right? Leader Scalise highlighted David Bailey and Crystal Griner, the two brave police officers who were shot during the shootout with the Democrat Party campaign volunteer. And Steve Scalise also commended FBI Director Kash Patel, for the brand new FBI Director, for his transparency in turning over the previously withheld documents. Why would these documents be previously withheld? Just amazing. That that exposed the FBI's lies. Pretty amazing stuff. And I got to say, Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan were on with Sean Hannity on his television program on the Fox News Channel. And look, the people at the New York Post have the story. The people at the Washington Post do not. It's not in the Washington Post. It's not a newspaper. It's propaganda for the Democrat Party. But the New York Post headline, FBI, quote, butchered, end quote, 2017 congressional baseball shooting probe downplaying anti-GOP motives of gunmen, blistering report concludes. And it is the congressional report. And yeah, and it's true, as Tim points out, when James Hodgkinson showed up at the baseball field, he saw a bunch of members of Congress, some sitting on the bleachers and standing by, some out in the field playing. And James Hodgkinson walked up to one of the Republican members of the House and said, "Hey, are these Republicans or Democrats?" And the person he was talking to was Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis said, "Oh, yeah, it's the Republican members of Congress practicing for the baseball game. Yeah, it's the Democrats." And that's when James Hodgkinson went and got his rifle. And Ron DeSantis was ready to leave because he had someplace to be and he couldn't stay there all day and practice baseball. So Ron DeSantis left. But James Hodgkinson had murder in his heart. And he wanted to kill all the whole baseball team of Republican members of Congress. And then these two police officers, U.S. Capitol Police, and Officer Griner was shot. Two officers were shot. And the media made it a one-day story. Now, last night on the Sean Hannity program on the Fox News Channel, you have Jim Jordan first. Congressman Jim Jordan, whose investigation, along with Kash Patel, cooperating, handing over the documents. And again, suicide by cop is a very specific thing. You don't generally shoot the police officer and then say it's suicide by cop. You come out with a gun in the hope that the police are going to shoot you, or you go running at them with a knife in the hope the police are going to shoot you. And then, I don't know, the family gets the insurance or something, and you didn't kill yourself. You were shot down by the police. That's suicide by cop. This was not suicide by cop. This was an attempted mass political assassination by a Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer. It didn't rub off on Bernie Sanders at all in the news media. And nobody ever asked him about it. Nobody asks him about it. If you're a Republican and this is your campaign volunteer, your political career is over if you're Bernie Sanders, because every reporter is going to ask you every time they see you about James Hodgkinson and the attempted mass political assassination. It was Jim Jordan's committee in the House of Representatives that discovered that the FBI, train wreck that it is, the FBI came up with this fake narrative cleansing the Democrat Party of their guilt, of their complicity in this attempted mass political assassination. Jim Jordan.
The guy who shoots Steve has a piece of paper in his pocket, a hit list with the names and descriptions of 6 other members of Congress. He's not a domestic terrorist,
all
but
Republican.
pro-life Catholics are. That was the mindset at the FBI before Kash Patel. That was their mindset. And so they have to label this something different because it doesn't fit the narrative.
It doesn't fit the narrative. And that, whose narrative is that? Well, it's the Democrat Party's narrative. And why did the FBI go with the Democrat Party's narrative? Well, that's a really good question, because that is absolutely not what this circumstance was. Just amazing.
They're getting hammered, Mike Hunt.
And Jim Jordan, he's on to them at the FBI, and Kash Patel. If it were still Democrat,
but in these chats for quite a while, everything I did from way back in the CNN days,
the disdain that they have.
it's come to light, bitch.
Remember Peter
JC?
that text message he
You
sent
fucking stupid cunt, JC.
Walmart, and I can
You gonna send a friend to fucking protect you from me, JC?
We finally get because Kash Patel released the entire case file, and we could look at it all. The Intel Committee could look at it all, and they did great work exposing the ridiculous stuff that Andy McCabe, Jim Comey, and Chris Wray, how they ran the FBI, and what a difference now with Kash Patel running that place.
What a difference with Kash Patel running that place. When they're naturally attacking Kash Patel, who was we played it yesterday, MSDNC and their corrupt former FBI guy, who goes on MSNBC and says outrageous and false things and he's saying that Kash Patel spends all his time out at nightclubs and he never goes to the meetings on the 7th floor at the FBI. And then fake news, MS-13, NBC had to come on and retract and apologize, which they did in about 6 words, and then they went to commercial break because they don't really apologize. But Congressman Steve Scalise was shot by Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer, James Hodgkinson, and he just found out that the FBI falsely labeled it as a suicide by cop. So the FBI butchered the 2017 congressional baseball shooting probe, downplaying anti-GOP motives of gunmen. Blistering report concludes. So the FBI botched the investigation. I don't know if that's technically botching. They corrupted it. Botching implies it was accidental. Its investigation into the 2017 congressional baseball shooting, downplaying the gunman's anti-GOP motives, despite having handwritten evidence. A blistering House report found. The House Judiciary Committee, Intelligence Committee, and Intelligence Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigation released the scathing unclassified report on its findings on Tuesday, that's yesterday, after combing through roughly 3,000 case file documents. It was given last month on the attack that wounded 6 people, including the current House Majority Leader, Steve Scalise, and led to the death of the gunman, James T. Hodgkinson, a Democrat, Bernie Sanders campaign volunteer. Steve Scalise was also on with Sean Hannity last night.
When the FBI initially pulled those of us from the baseball shooting into a hearing after we got out of the hospital, they called it suicide by cop. And we were so offended, we walked out of the hearing. We said, how can you call that suicide by cop when he tried to kill the 2 cops that were with me that day? David Bailey and Crystal Griner were both shot during the shootout, and the shooter tried to kill all of us that day, and it was politically motivated, and yet in their report, they said it wasn't politically motivated, and in fact, they withheld facts that the shooter had on his person that showed that he had political motivations to then say falsely that it wasn't politically motivated. You know, this begs the question, why was the FBI trying to mislead back in 2017?
Yeah, why was the FBI was misleading on everything back in 2017. The FBI had the Hunter Biden laptop hard drive, and they knew that all the reporting the New York Post was putting out was true and accurate because they had the same hard drive. They knew that Joe Biden was big guy. They knew that Hunter Biden was, getting $1 million a year for a no-show job in Ukraine with
Hillary Clinton snuffed out Vince Foster.
Has been thoroughly corrupted at the highest levels for years now by Democrats, and honestly, that you can call them the permanent bureaucracy, the deep state. You can call them what you want. The one-word description is Democrats. Congressman Steve Scalise just discovering now that the FBI had labeled this suicide by cop, which it clearly and obviously was not. The FBI should perhaps be disbanded, and maybe we should start over again with a different investigative body.
I applaud Kash Patel for getting the facts out and getting the record corrected, but the FBI in 2017 falsely put out information. Look, Jim Jordan's name was on that shooter's hit list too. And he had very dire intentions to kill Republicans. That's what he said he wanted to do. It wasn't suicide by cop, and yet the report by the FBI initially tried to claim it was.
Well, and initially, that's the final report. That's what they did. Isn't that amazing? Same FBI who told us, honestly, and this is absolutely true. This is the same FBI that can't tell us who planted the pipe bomb January 6, 2021, who can't tell us who leaked the Dobbs opinion from the Supreme Court that led to the assassin showing up at Brett Kavanaugh's house, and another Democrat armed with gun and ammo and kidnapping tools and burglary tools who had plotted to murder 3 members of the U.S. Supreme Court. And the FBI, I got to tell you that who leaked the Dobbs decision from the Supreme Court? I could find out in an afternoon if you gave me access to the text messages of Sonia Sotomayor's clerks. That's as far as you'd have to go. Amazing stuff. Our Democrat Party, our FBI, our federal government. The left is here. These are not liberals. This is the left. I've also got an update coming out of the Vatican for you coming up shortly. Hey, if you've had enough of big wireless and the runaround they give you, it's time to switch to Consumer Cellular. You're going to get the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as big wireless, but without the big wireless prices, for one thing, and without the mega corporation shenanigans, I tell you, shenanigans, where they force you into an unlimited data plan that you probably don't even need. Now, Consumer Cellular isn't a prepaid option. You pick a plan, and you know exactly what your bill's going to be every month.
That's tight.
From Consumer Cellular, glad an amazing phone with a much better camera and wonderful. Hooked it up right away. Took no time at all. Just great. So easy to switch. All you have to do is just give a call, and you speak with an actual human being based right here in the United States of America. They make switching your plan fast, and they make it easy. And now you can get your second month free with my special promo code, Chris. Very simple, Chris. Taxes and third-party fees will apply. So check out consumercellular.com/Chris. Consumercellular.com/Chris. For more information, you can call them on the telephone at 1-800-760-0702. Yeah, Washington. Washington is a very silly place, isn't it? I do have an update for you. What's going on at the Vatican in Rome? The Sistine Chapel selecting a new pope. How's that going to play out? I've got that for you coming up, too. And President Trump and Joe Biden did his first interview. That's pretty funny.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
All right, I got a point to make.
Choosing alcohol over my family. That's what
These women out there,
finding better ways to cope.
Mental health care works when you make the
like ACAT.
mentalhealthcareworks.org.
My haters. I don't block nobody. My haters. They're always saying haters. Angie, Tiffany. Just because I don't like your content, it doesn't mean I hate you. Tiffany actually thinks I hate her. Very thin skin, shallow, just like Shannon. I went to Captain Spaulding's channel. They were live. Of course, they don't go live until in the middle of the fucking morning.
They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both physically.
VB protected Rob Noxious from me. She put up a chat one day. I went in there. She knew what I was going to do. They know what I do. All right, and I made a clone with Mary Burney's picture, and the name was Mrs. Rob Noxious. She timed it out. I come back, and she fucking cried like a fucker. Didn't you, VB? But it's okay for you guys to do it.
Making sense of the news. Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnade, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of.
Tiffany is unimportant.
105.9 WMAL. Making
All right.
sense of the news.
I don't hate her. There's a reason for a thumbs up, and there's a reason for a thumbs down. I went to her chat to support her, and she treated me like shit. I went up on her panel twice. twice Tiffany kicked me off her panel or put me backstage. The first time it was, who was it over? VB? I forget, but the second time was Rusty.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold?
Here she is monetized. She kicked me out. She doesn't want me in the chat. I guess my money's not good enough. So there you go. Who hates who, Tiffany? You're the hater. You're the angry spammer. Just like Hey Girl said, compared Rusty to Billy Hayden being an angry spammer. No, Logical is the angry spammer.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet,
So because I don't like her content, I don't like the way she conducts herself, I don't like her attitude, I hate her. Okay. Okay, Tiffany. Okay. Alicia, I hope you're listening up because this is fucking true. I went up there twice. I think, was it VB? Who the fuck? We were all trolling each other. I went to her chat and she timed me out. And Rob Noxious can attest to this because he was, I cloned Mary Burney in there, called it Mrs. Rob. It was funny. But VB didn't think it was funny. Fuck you, VB. Yeah, you know what you are, VB? You're glub. You're just what Trump called Schumer at that dinner in New York City fucking 2, 3, 4 months ago, whenever the fuck it was. All right. Glum. Put his hand on his shoulder. Ain't hadn't heard that word in a long time, but it's true. You're glub. So aren't you, Rusty? Look that word up, glub. I dare you.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST.
Tiffany has all of those subscribers on her channel, and she's out here worried about her haters. Oh, they're just haters, JC, Tiffany. Hi, girls. Oh, Angie, I love you. We're all friends. It's why JC's room is actually, it's romper room over there. That's what I coined that, Charlie, long time ago. Queer Lido. Motherfucker trying to ride my coattails. Go open your own chat, Charlie.
That's a great strategy. It's actually more like going on a walk with friends.
Your day's ended here today, Charlie. He stopped loving him today. Oh, Tiffany will crack. She's already cracked. Nobody's more fake out here than Tiffany. She's a big fucking fraud. Tiffany has no friends outside of chat.
They can't figure stuff out. I wonder if they know who shot Kennedy. We should give him an ask.
He's playing Black Betty.
Let's go to the telephones, Mike. Let's go to Scott, calling from the great state of Kansas. Scott, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for taking my call. No more stupid Jeetified jokes. They sounded a lot funnier in my head. I was just curious. And real quick, you need more Looney Tunes references because the Democrats are Marvin the Martian. They're very.
Oh no! Someone stole the Q-38 space modulator. It was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Where's the punishment? And I told Jasmine, I said, going back to Anthony Fauci and Comey and all these
fucking
people,
blackbirds out there.
Where's the punishment?
European starlings are evil.
That's a fun question. And we had James Clapper lying under oath twice to a congressional committee about spying on all of us. And the Democrat Party and the permanent bureaucracy, but I repeat myself, have created a consequence-free Washington, D.C. The powerful government people look, they brought President Trump on 34 felony charges because he had a non-disclosure agreement with a woman, which every network has, every newspaper has, with multiple women. But
Charlie Rose,
it's a corrupt
Matt
city.
Lauer.
Report, Scott.
Who's that? Oh, the famous Jeffrey Toobin. Jeffrey Toobin jerking off on a Zoom call. Playing with the old tube. There's a few others. And you got what's his name there? Called himself.
133
I'll let the news play.
Around the globe gathering in the Sistine Chapel to start a conclave to elect a new pope.
This is the largest conclave ever, and it's the most diverse, with 24 cardinals from countries that have never before participated. Later this afternoon, the cardinals will take an oath of secrecy. They'll give up their phones, their electronic devices, access to newspapers, TV, any contact to the outside world. Anyone else who works in the Vatican, like plumbers or electricians, they will not be able to communicate with the outside world either.
Fox News' Alex Hogan, their first vote expected later today. The FAA says it is adding flight controllers and improving technology to address weeks of long flight delays at Newark Airport.
The changes come as Newark deals with a second week of travel disruptions amid reports that air traffic controllers briefly lost contact with planes on April 28th. The FAA system that processes radar information for Newark is based in New York. They feed the data to air traffic controllers in Philadelphia, who handle arrivals and departures for Newark. The FAA says it's also working on a backup system for Philadelphia so lines can be upgraded. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
A 7 News report on a boys' locker room incident in a Loudoun County high school has caught the attention of Attorney General Jason Miyares.
According to the report, this was a group of 15-year-old boys in a locker room. A biological girl walked in the locker room, started videotaping them.
That's not allowed. Virginia Attorney General Jason.
Is she live? Let's see. I got 6 people watching. 1 person posting. So I would assume at least one important person is listening. I know at least one other person is, just waiting for something to use, and think they can catch me. And Tiffany fucking reported me for a copyright strike. I appealed it, and then fucking Google let it go through. YouTube or whatever, fucking YouTube. They're both the same. So since then, do you wonder why I might hate you, Tiffany? I don't hate you. I think you're disgusting. Doesn't mean I hate you. If I hated you, Tiffany, you'd know it. Trust me. If I really hated you, Tiffany, I'd let you know it. You're just disgusting. You're a liar. You're not entertaining. You don't make me laugh. You went to JC's and sucked her ass to get into the fray and thinking you're fucking part of, I'm part of Elderverse. No, right here is Elderverse. Right here. I'm the one who made JC's chat. There's a reason that she distributed my mother's picture. You're welcome to come up though, Tiff, JC, either one of you. You both can come up at the same time. I'll let you up. I won't play your game that you played with me unless you fucking, you want to get really mealy mouth. Biden didn't win in 2020, JC. You lost the bet. You owe me $1,000, JC. And I want it. That's right, Mike. She made a bet with me. And, Biden was president for the last 4 years. Well, we might hear about it in the news. See if they talk about what the FBI has been doing over the last few years. Nothing worse than a crooked cop The only thing worse than a crooked cop is a crooked judge.
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is
Well, she disgraces YouTube chat. Yes, she does.
Join us at MDA75.org.
Nightly scroll with Haley Carania.
I'm Haley Carania. I scroll with.
You can be JC's friend as long as you let her abuse you. Or unless you're somebody like Angie and them, they're just total fucking nitwits. Logical, why don't you just get together with Angie? She needs a good man. Try not to burn your feet.
Nightly scroll with Haley Carania.
Oh, I know she does. Oh, yeah, she's fucking out there shaking her tail feathers.
Heaviest beltway delays right now. First, Virginia inner loop as you come out of Tyson's to the work zone in McLean, blocking the right lane.
But then so does Rusty. Rusty thinks she's something special too. All right, there's no difference between all of them. They're all a bunch of fucking feminists.
Zone on the freeway just past the 3rd Street Tunnel. Maryland, no
Yeah.
change on I-70. Eastbound crash investigation continues. Eastbound 70 diverted at 97 before you can get to.
And I was right about Lady Venom and JC a long time ago. Oh, she got madder than a fucker when I made that connection. All of a sudden, she appears in JC's. No, Lady Venom used to be Ted D. Bear. She's been doing this whole fucking time.
Heavier rain tomorrow night and into Friday. I'm 7 News meteorologist.
And the thing with charm.
70 at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plain.
I predict Tiffany will betray Alicia again. So why Alicia trusts her, I don't agree with that. I think you should turn this up.
And it doesn't look like they're targeting criminals.
Yes. ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, raiding. Now, there was a lot of panic online, but they apparently raided at least one restaurant yesterday. And it was a restaurant my best girl and I ate at on Sunday night.
That's her real daughter. Lady Venom is JC's real daughter.
Well, by certain people at the restaurant. And that was Muriel.
They're both just alike.
DC.
Lady Venom has said the most vile things about Americans.
What? We didn't comment. Literally, we were sitting out on the patio.
And she gets mad when somebody brings up what she said, especially about her dad. Fucking crackhead.
CBS News anchor Nora O'Donnell was seated 2 tables away from us.
Nora O'Donnell.
I think she
pretty, but not very fucking smart.
Now, I think that's probably more accurate. Remarkable. What a time it is. Man, oh, Manischewitz. We got a lot going on. And it's mailbag day here on the Chris Plant Show.
You do know Lady Venom and Tiffany are fucking like this, and Tiffany's sucking acid drips dick. That little tiny fucking thing he's got, I'm sure.
At the Vatican,
you see fucking acid's fingers
today because
fuckers snap right in half like
the
toothpicks.
events going on there. 100.
I'd like to feel his handshake.
Cardinals from all over the world gathered at
Be
the
like grabbing a
Vatican.
kid's hand.
The selection of a new pope with the passing of Pope Francis last week, right? And I've got a bunch of friends, Newsmax friends, among others, over there in Rome at the Vatican for the events. And it is a remarkable. It's always, I've seen it before. I think
Baron von Rushka would put an apple in his hand and crush it.
They're not allowed to use cell phones. The Cardinals have to. There are 133.
She don't dare come in here. She don't like being timed out. DA doesn't like being timed out. They don't like. They like timing people out.
From the College of Cardinals to select a new pope, kind of like the United States Senate in many ways. There are only 100 members of the United States Senate, and too many of them are Democrats. But the 133 Cardinals who had gathered from over 70 countries will have no contact with the outside world as they decide who among them will lead the Catholic Church following the death of Pope Francis.
Lady Venom is not
and,
pretty.
the
That is not a
Cardinals
pretty woman. She's not pretty.
filed into the frescoed Sistine Chapel,
No.
the ceiling painted by Michelangelo.
In fact, you
It's-
pull her
and
hair
of course,
back,
you've never been
just
there,
show
I
her face.
recommend it. It's
She
very
looks like
nice.
a
My
boy.
best girl and I been there to the Sistine
Pointed
Chapel
chin.
and to the, of course, to the Vatican and inside the St. Peter's Basilica. One of the most amazing spots on the
One
planet.
disgusting,
Very,
vile
very easily.
bitch right there.
And my best girl, and I think I mentioned the other day, we went up to the cupola, which is
Putrid.
the structure on top of the
Yeah,
dome.
Lady
where
Venom's
you can get
putrid.
by walking on a very angled staircase, very narrow angled staircase inside the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. And you actually
She
have to
hates
lean
herself.
as you're walking up the staircase. It was built a long time ago. It's an amazing, amazing place. But the Cardinals filed into the frescoed Sistine Chapel, took an oath of secrecy. I don't think they have any, like Democrat senators like Adam Schiff. They don't have any Adam Schiffs among them, I'm guessing. But they filed into the frescoed Sistine Chapel and took an oath of secrecy after a public mass in St. Peter's Basilica, marking the commencement of the secretive ritual dating back to the Middle Ages. It's unclear how long the conclave will last. The previous 10 averaged 3 days, on average, 3 days, with the Cardinals deciding, with the 2013 selection of Pope Francis lasting only 2 days, and none in modern times have gone longer than 5 days. Now, I've got friends over there. I know they're hoping it's going to take weeks. They're hoping it's going to break a record, maybe take a month, because they're in Rome and they're staying in nice hotels and going to nice restaurants, and they're working long days, but that's okay. You're at the Vatican and they're selecting a new pope, so it's cool. Wednesday's session will allow, that's today, will allow for one.
Look,
vote,
the other day she did
while
this.
all following days will
Right.
allow for
Saying there's no
4
filters.
rounds of voting. The
All right.
Cardinals famously communicate to the outside
So what she's
world
doing,
using only
and she
smoke
cut her
signals.
bottom half off. You can't
Smoke
see the
from
top
the,
of her legs.
chimney at the
Hips say
Sistine
everything
Chapel.
about a woman.
They
A
put-
woman's
they put
hips.
the votes
That's
in
where
the
a man's
tape,
eyes
and
always going to go down
and
there.
then they take the votes and they put them in
Always.
a pot-bellied stove kind of.
All right.
And they
So
burn
she's
the,
sticking her ass out trying to,
when
and she's
black
sucking her gut in.
smoke rises from the
But if you
Sistine
get
Chapel,
it,
means
right,
that
she
they
cut
have
it
not
off.
Selected a new
All right.
And eventually
She's got some saggy ass fucking tits.
will rise
She's saying
from
she
the
lost
Sistine
50 pounds.
Chapel, and that will indicate that a new pope has been
So she's
selected
fucking
by
pretty.
the College of Cardinals.
She was a roly-poly. She still is a roly-poly. She's admitted. She brought it up on JC's chat the other night because I've been posting the word cellulitis.
Reforms in the church and strong pushback from
All right.
traditionalists.
Makeup
The
can't make
Cardinals
that
are
look good.
expected to
Okay.
strive
She's not pretty.
for a speedy conclave, an impression of
She's
unity
barely average
to the
looking.
world. Well, I think they should take their time and
There's a person that's jealous of other women when she sees them, and she perceives those women to be better looking than her.
Catholic, raised Catholic, I am Catholic. And,
At one time, she didn't give a shit what she looked like.
This is a great tradition. The rituals and everything, just great. The institution of the Catholic Church is quite extraordinary. So, but they banned. They take their cell phones from them. Nobody's recording. Nobody's making videos. Nobody's taking pictures. Nobody's leaking stuff. Because
Now she did have a picture of her backside. She was doing before and after. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while.
Yes, they do. Now,
Right, but it's only in the last few years. A few is 5, right?
And that means that it's mailbag day. Mailbag day. And I have
A couple means 2.
Michael Piercy has given me only
Right.
3 mailbag questions for today. Only 3. Having selected them.
So she's
through
sucking
the,
her gut
very
in.
rapid process. We have 100
Sticking her ass out.
Judges going through the mailbag questions. Not really. I just made that up. We don't have the College of Cardinals for mailbag day, but let's go to the question.
Claims she has haters.
Thomas Bone.
Well,
Thomas Bone.
that's what you get when you
Has a
troll
question
people.
today. That'd be T-Bone.
I don't hate
T-Bone
Tiffany.
because he's Thomas Bone. Good morning, Chris.
Not
Is it a
yet,
good idea for
anyways.
The government to offer illegal
Getting there, though.
$1,000 and free transportation back to their home country.
Just so you know,
11 million.
I'm getting there,
illegals will
Tiffany.
cost
I'm
us
about.
$11
I'm like that close to
billion.
really hating you.
But then again, allowing them to stay would cost 100 times that, given their governmental dependence.
Not that it matters.
Needs. Well, T-Bone, we were going through these in the pre-show meeting today, and I said, well, I think T-Bone just answered his own question, didn't he? Because if they stay, let's say it's 11 million people, it might be 20 million people, because the Democrats are fully contemptuous of the United States of America in every imaginable way. And it could be a lot more than that. You say 11 billion, could be 20 billion or 22 billion. If all of them accepted and it's more than just the $1,000 that they get as a stipend. It's also the transportation and the airfare to get on an airplane, to go back to whatever beephole they fled in the first place, and all of that good stuff. But honestly, T-Bone, I think you answered your own question. It's more cost effective to pay, and what is it, $17,000 more than the dollar figures came out, more than $17,000, I think it's $17,400 to deport an illegal alien from the United States ordinarily. And if they self-deport, we give them the airfare and $1,000. That is a fraction of the cost that it normally costs us to deport one illegal alien that the Democrats waved into the country with their gang tattoos and their weapons and their bags of drugs and smuggling children for sex trafficking, which the Democrats enjoy. They enjoy all of that. So is it a good idea for the to offer $1,000 is the question. And T-Bone, I got to say the answer is yes, because we've dug ourselves in over the course of decades, and now it's going to be incredibly expensive, like everything else out of Washington, to clean up the mess that overwhelmingly Democrats have made, but Republicans have been guilty in the past as well. And yes, now again, more than $17,000 to deport an individual versus maybe a couple $1,000. You get an airfare and $1,000 in cash. You go home, you can buy the whole town. Here's $1,000. Buy a house, get a swimming pool, raise 12 kids. So yeah, unfortunately, T-Bone, I think it is cost effective. Is it a good idea? Yes, it is. And you're right, you kind of answered your own question. Then we have our second question from Sirokeva. Sirokeva. It's Serokeva, right? Sirokeva. Could be somebody in Virginia. It's a pretty good code, though. I like it, with capital S, capital R, capital K, and capital V. There it is. If you could go back and buy a different car than the one you have now, what would you buy? What would you buy? That's the question from Sirokeva. And Michael and I talked about this a little this morning, and I'm kind of, I drove my Lincoln Townhouse for about 10 years, I think. I drove it into the ground. Nobody would even buy it. Cab drivers wouldn't buy it by the time I was done with it. Didn't have a lot of miles on it, but DC driving for all those years. And I loved my big Lincoln Townhouse. Now I drive a small, sporty 4-cylinder turbocharged car that's really fast and has a slapstick transmission. And I really enjoy driving it. I only basically drive in the city of Washington. My car is now 9 years. I bought it 9 years and 4 months ago. And I looked at my odometer the other day. I had 21,111 miles on my 9 year. They manufactured it before I bought it, but 9 years, 4 months ago I bought it, and I put 21,111 miles on it. It is pretty funny. Now, and I was looking, but I kind of like a big fat mobile. I like a big comfortable thing. And if I could choose any car, I chose this morning the Rolls-Royce Dawn. It's a convertible Rolls-Royce 2-door, and it is it's practically a 2-seater. It's really kind of a 2-seater, and it's one of the coolest. It's only $400,000. I looked up the new one. You can get a used one, a couple years old, for $200,000 to $300,000. and not likely to ever own one. But the Rolls-Royce Dawn, the new one, is like $409,000. It's a really nice car. But, you know, I park outside, so it might not be the best car for me. I think you want a garage if you're going to have a car like that. Also, I like, there are so many great cars. Michael Piercy said he wants a Shelby, a Shelby Cobra Mustang. And that's a really cool car. There are so many great cars. Classic old 1960s muscle cars are some of the coolest cars on the planet. And I could choose from a dozen of those. So many great cars on the road. But since Sirokova asked me to identify one, I went with the Rolls-Royce Dawn convertible. Comes in really cool colors, too. Why wouldn't it? And then our final mailbag question of the day from Kevin Kneffel. It might be Neffel, K-N, like Evil Knievel, like Knawful, awful Knawful, But Kevin Kneffel. Chris, recently it came out that the man who had sex with a male corpse in the New York City subway, I told you all about this story, was an illegal alien. Yes, he was. He was an illegal alien. My question, what are the chances when Tom Homan deports him that Senator Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand will demand that the gay New York family man be returned? I think chances are pretty good. I think chances are very good that the Democrats, and you're right, if Tom Homan comes in to have this illegal alien, necrophiliac, criminal thief who robbed the man died on the New York City subway train. The illegal alien first robbed him, looting through his pockets, stole everything there was to steal, then sexually assaulted him up and then sexually assaulted him down. And then another Democrat on the subway train, when the necrophiliac rapist was done, another Democrat went and picked through his pockets again to see if there was anything left to steal. And if Tom Homan deports him, he's going to have to be, like the Maryland man that they love so much in prison in El Salvador. This guy would become the New York family man. And he'd be the gay New York family man because, the corpse that he raped was a man. So he's got to be like a straight guy wouldn't do that, right? Only, a Democrat voter, illegal alien. The Democrats, they're not normal. They're really not. Hey, are you a yo-yo dieter? You diet, you lose weight, then you gain it all back again, probably plus a few pounds.
All right, this is what's been on my mind. This is funny. There's Tiffany in Acid Trips chat. I'm assuming that was her. Okay, it looked like her posting in there. All right, I took a screenshot. I have the screenshot. All right, people aren't, they're not being nice to Acid Drip, whatever. And then you got Tiffany over at Will Durant's chat, and whatever's going on there, and looks like Tiffany is the one that's been passed around. Tell her the truth, she doesn't have a channel where she's shaking her ass for everybody and all that shit and doing what she's doing, and we can open box, and sending shit to people in the mail. So Acid is Will Durant fighting Acid Drip for Tiffany now, or what? Is that what's going on out here as the chats turn? Well, you're might popular, Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, you got anything to say to me? Come on up here. I went up on your panel twice, and you did what you did. I think first time was over Lady Venom. I forget, but I think it was Lady Venom. And then you did it because I said Marie Lubapina. No doxing, no doxing. Oh. That's after you fucking sent her something in the mail. You got her address and you mailed her something. That's why Empress was able to Google Earth your fucking place, you dumb fuck. So my other thought was this. There's a few people obviously from California in here. You're feeling some of you know each other personally. It's like Wiggin says, he's not very far from VB. Yeah, you're a piece of work, VB. Anyways, and back to this.
Hey, I'm Reba
Now,
McEntire.
Reba McEntire, commercial.
People tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Your phone has a lot of apps.
But I have a lot of animal activity out in my front yard. Time is it? 7:26.
Without having to remember yet another password.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Stream your favorite shows. Get the day's
I haven't had breakfast yet. I never did warm them ribs up for dinner last night. I got 2 packages, so I just put a package of baby back in the oven to warm up.
Bright Focus Foundation's
I don't have
Alzheimer's
to
disease
cook 'em.
research program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855.
I'm going to sit here and eat baby back ribs in front of
for free resources.
Mary
We're
Burney.
with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with all service members and
Come on up and call me Fatso, DA. Post in my chat. Let me see if you're here.
School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources. But when communities and schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communities and schools.
Oh, that's one thing Tiffany and JC have in common. They see you talking and using their name in another chat. They can't ignore it.
Yeah. Elijah Wood. Peter gets on the phone. Elijah, would you like to play the role further? Did you cry? Probably screamed at the top of my lungs.
Fuck is this guy doing?
Iconic characters, Black Canary and Black Siren. Who would you choose?
Probably Black Siren. She was like, I got this. And that's how Katie Cassidy feels. She's got this.
I like that.
The Inside of You podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story.
So about 25 minutes.
Why are we the only ones reporting this? News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
No, you don't need to buy oversized pants if you want to earn more money. Just listen to Bigger Pockets.
Because it's really just kind of a little bit of a cheat code.
The money-making podcast.
There he is. Hi, DA.
Follow and listen on
Crybaby motherfucker. Go live, DA, and we'll stream.
I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type. I have to
You said that fucking 2 years ago. Longer than that. You've been after me. You're fucking destruction of Hayden, and poof, you're gone.
until type 1 becomes type none.
You're a no load, DA. That's all you are. No load. That's your new nickname. I'm a fucking W no load today.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not
Do
even-
something, crater face.
A stroke.
When someone is having a stroke,
Crater
they may not
face.
be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you.
You got acne all over that motherfucker. You just scars. You want me to put the picture up? We know it's you, right? It is you, right?
Time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs.
Bet they made fun of you in school. Fucking pimples all over your fucking face all the time.
By the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese. Weekdays at noon.
That's why you won't go on camera.
105.9 WMAL.
You can't take a dose of your own medicine, DA. All humans are flawed. We're all sinners. Sorry.
Little rebel.
Ain't no lie. Come on up and turn your camera on.
Why does
does the Democrat Party create so much news?
Chicken shit,
every day?
motherfucker.
They're just crazy, aren't they? They never stop. They never. It must be the cocaine. Do you think it's the cocaine?
You fear
Might be the
Wiggin.
Crack might be the crack. Just amazing stuff. These people. Listen, I haven't gotten to President Trump yet today. I'm going to do that.
I was playing this tune last night.
And we're getting some.
Well,
Joe
it's in my
Biden,
playlist.
because Joe Biden did an interview with television people, not the United States.
That's Frank
another
Zappa, by the
country
way.
Altogether, a far-off land, an English-speaking country. But I've got that for you as well. And everybody's mocking him.
This is the Chris Plant Show.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.
So what you're saying, DA, if you're hovering in a helicopter, the earth below you should spin away from you. If the earth is flat, that means it's not rotating, right? Right? If the earth is flat, are we still rotating? DA, I'm just a fucking hick guy from a farming town, all right? Now, if you take that helicopter and you expect that earth would spin away from you. Neither one of us have ever flown a helicopter, so you have no idea how it's even fucking done in the first place. Helicopter has electronics, and you fucking punch in and you maintain altitude and a certain latitude and certain longitude. All right. Yeah. If you're a pilot, you have to know about latitude, longitude, and the whole fucking 9 yards. If you're a ship on the sea, it's the way you measure the earth, dumb fucks. So is that what and you're trying to make the argument for Ginger Steck and fucking her idiot fucking friend Patrick Francis Callahan. What a nitwit. No, he doesn't. I have no idea who Mike Hunt is. I guess, but I can't be sure who that is. I know who Wiggin is, obviously. I know who Charlie. I know who few people are. But if you come in as a stranger, I don't really know you, and you're fucking attacking me, then that just gives you away. That's why I'm here to fucking fish bait for Wiggin and his crew. Okay. I'll take it up with Mike Hunt. That's between you guys.
Get the benefits they've earned. They help more than
Freedom of speech
every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more.
Doesn't matter what you say, DA, you're a chicken shit. And I'm going to prove it right now. I'm going to prove that you are not a man right now, DA. You are not a real, serious man. You will not face the music. Because if you were a real man, you click on my link and come on up.
Be a champion. Drink responsibly. This message has been brought to you by the Century Council.
That's your choice. You're done posting in my chat today. If I decide to leave this fucker up, I'm thinking about just leaving the chat up. I got to go somewhere and get something. It's been raining out. That's why I didn't go earlier.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like,
well,
what does my future hold?
Freedom of speech, that First Amendment only applies in America. No other country has a constitution like we do. No other country has a constitution saying that our rights come from God and not the government. Limited government. That's what we are. And capitalism is the only way to have it. You have to merit what you have.
For real estate investing.
Can we have an honest talk about
And this isn't the Nationalist Socialist Party either.
I hear people talking about
I'm an individual.
invest in real estate and it's not even worthwhile anymore. I'm getting pretty frustrated
Get real talk.
Keep crying, Spalding, or whoever fucking you are from Shannon's chat, you stupid fucks.
Pay attention to this track, or follow me and I'll let you know what's going on. Search for the Bigger Pockets Real
The
Estate
fuck is
Show.
that Spalding guy ever done? The motherfucker, the only furniture he has is a king-size bed. It's the only fucking thing you can fucking sit on.
Making sense of Washington.
Disgusting, DA. You disgust me, DA. You really do. I don't find you funny.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor.
Mornings from
Cry. Go ahead. Cry. That's why I'm here. Cry on my shoulder.
Making sense of the news. WMAL.
Come on up, DA. Let's see if you're fat or not. Let's see what your face looks like, DA. I got a scar underneath my lip right there.
Trump was on camera talking to the news media yesterday for how long? Like
From a long time ago.
Every day it's a full-length movie of President Trump talking.
Got it when I was in a wrestling match in high school because I was a first-string wrestler.
You know,
I was a tough little
He knows
fucker.
what's going on. And
You'd think twice if I grab a hold of you.
He was. I was already calling it in our entire political system a terrible cable television show, but President Trump recognized, the citizen Trump recognized that, and he came down the escalator, and he has dominated, which is a difficult thing to do in this media environment, but he has dominated the news media every day, and they're all freaked out. They're panicking. They're changing genders like Michelle Obama, who's transitioning. You see, she's transitioning. Kind of fun. But let's go to one of the things that
I thought he was going to play it again.
Was President Trump yesterday, kind of very calmly and in a funny way, made fun of Barack Obama, who is trying to build his presidential library in Chicago, Illinois. And it's a disaster. It's taking forever, and the cost overruns, and the union shutdowns, and the construction looks like a calamity. It looks like it's in Ukraine, and it's awful. Everything about the Obama library in Chicago, the presidential library, is a complete disaster. And President Trump yesterday said, nobody asked him, hey, what do you think about the Obama library? But he's talking, and they've got their cameras, and they're listening. And President Trump volunteering. He's a world-class builder. President Trump yesterday on the Obama library.
President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder, and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns. The job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster.
I don't know. It's a disaster.
There's
He
a
wanted
business
DEI.
term,
He
cost
wanted
overruns.
Construction people, and now the construction has stopped. And just great. CBS News fake headline. President Trump calls Chicago's Obama Presidential Center a disaster. Blames woke construction. Very angry. The ABC station, Chicago, President Donald Trump criticizes construction progress at Obama Presidential Center in
This
Chicago.
is fucking hilarious.
How dare he? And you got to see the pictures of the thing. I mean, literally, it looks like it's something. It looks like Chernobyl, the disaster at the nuclear plant, which was in Ukraine, by the way. And it looks like they started construction and then they lost everything, and it doesn't look like a building. It looks like an elevator shaft, and it's concrete, raw concrete. And the NBC Chicago, President Donald Trump made several comments about the state of construction at the Obama Presidential Center, with the former president's foundation pushing back on the remarks. Naturally, President Trump called it a disaster and said he wanted a DEI, wanted a woke construction team and all this good stuff. And the Obama people are naturally angry. They had to go Molotov cocktail something Jewish President Trump yesterday on the Obama Library, the Obama Center.
I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that never did it before. And he's got a disaster.
I used to be one of those construction workers.
Or somebody else. I could recommend professionals. But it was not built in a professional manner.
It wasn't handled in a professional manner. President Trump said the job has stopped, talking about the construction, amid an ongoing lawsuit. They got a lawsuit. But the Obama administration rejected the claim in a response on Tuesday. Of course, they're lying because that's what they do. The lawsuit that President Trump referred to involved a black-owned subcontractor that had filed a lawsuit against another contractor alleging racial discrimination in late January, according to the Chicago Tribune. The Obama Foundation denied that construction had stopped. It's just not going forward, and that the project is still on track to be completed in 2026. Yeah, sure. But look at the state of the construction, and you'll know that something else is more likely true. Finally, the foundation emphasized that the project is privately funded and argued that it would generate up to $3 billion in economic activity once it opens over the course of 100 years. What's that? It's not going to $3 billion a year and not buy a long shot. No presidential library could ever do that. So they lie. Oh yeah, $3 billion. Yeah, sure, $3 billion. I'd like to know who funded it. Where's George Soros? How many left-wing radical billionaires have poured money into the Obama family coffers? That's what I want to know. And one contractor, black-owned subcontractor, suing another contractor, a racial discrimination. That was just a couple of months ago. And whatever they deny is likely true because you can't trust them. One of the big problems with these guys, I'm telling you. Now, President Trump also had the Canadian Prime Minister there at the White House yesterday, and that was perfectly fun. The president, this is. They even talked about Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office meeting where things didn't go very well with Volodymyr Zelensky. But President Trump yesterday with the Canadian Prime Minister, who's kind of a funny little leftist, and he's probably perfectly pleasant if you're sitting around drinking beers or whatever. But as world leaders go, the Canadians, they're not what they used to be. But it was kind of fun. Prime Minister Carney smells of cabbage, small hands, smells of cabbage. And Carney told Trump that Canada is not for sale. Never say never, President Trump replied. This is National Panhandler Radio suckling on the taxpayer teat so they can spread the propaganda of the left. But President Trump with the Canadian Prime Minister yesterday, who is a carny.
You would say that Canada should become the 51st state. Well, I still believe that, but it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut.
Be a massive tax cut because in Canada they already have their national health care, which is why wealthy people in Canada come to the United States to get their health care and including senior elected politicians, premiers, which is like a governor, and members of the parliament. They sneak out when they find themselves in medical trouble and they come to the United States for their health care. What's the guy's name? Gary Millions or whatever his name is. That's what they call him. And he came to Miami for his heart surgery because Canada was not his first choice. And then the woman who allegedly, the member of parliament there, allegedly had a sexual affair with Bill Clinton. And she had breast cancer, big supporter of the national healthcare system in Canada. But when she discovered she had breast cancer, she sneaked in and out of the country and went to California for her treatments because she wanted to live. The Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Trump yesterday at the White House.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
It's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well. And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But
we're not trying to buy it.
The opportunity is in the partnership, and
we're going to make you a state, you dumb fuckers.
He wasn't talking about buying it.
See,
I'm talking about buying it. Now, let me say, because the media is going bat guano about this again, as they often do.
You ain't gonna find this at JC's.
Which is about
she goes to some obscure website that fucking she believes.
The size of Western Europe, and we purchased Alaska from the Russians because the Russians owned it, and that would have become the Soviet Union had it not been for what they called Seward's Folly. Seward's Folly. Because our boy Seward is like, hey, we should buy Alaska from the Russians. I think that's the stupidest idea I ever heard. And if you're going to do big things, and America is known for doing big things, then you have to step up and say it out loud, and then you have to actually do it. And it's not about empire building. Obviously, Canada's an ally, and they have really high taxes, and they're very left-wing. They're allowed to be very left-wing because we insulated them from the Soviet Union for decades and decades. We saved them from the rise of the Socialist Workers' Party of Adolf Hitler, from the threat of the Russians and then the Soviet Union, and from communism in China and every place. They've talked about being insulated from evildoers. Canada is the most insulated country and has been for generations now. Mark Carney is the Canadian Prime Minister meeting with President Trump, and it was very cordial. The tone was very nice and everything. And then there was Volodymyr Zelensky, who didn't have such a good time in the Oval Office, but Canadian Mark Carney and President Trump.
When you consider what Mr. Carney just said, that Canada is not for sale, does this make the discussion a little more difficult to start on?
No, not at all. No, not at all. No, time will tell. It's only time. But I say never. I've had many things that were not doable, and they ended up being doable, and only doable in a very friendly way. But
that's right. And again, it was very friendly when we bought Alaska from Russia, too, before it was the Soviet Union. And it was the greatest idea in the history of the world. And also, I don't recall President Trump saying we were going to buy Canada. Too many acres. It's, it's the second largest country on the planet Earth. I don't think we want to buy it as a real estate transaction. I don't recall President Trump saying we were going to buy it. He said we're going to give him statehood, make a mistake. And overwhelmingly, I think he's having fun, and Greenland too. And it makes the lefties go crazy, and they run over and crash into the wall and throw their stack of papers up in the air, and they get a bloody nose and they run away. It's ridiculous. But President Trump, a lot of this he's doing for fun, and he also looks at the history of the world, and big leaders do big things, right? Let's go to Joe Biden, because Joe Biden, ridiculous dimwit that he is, did an interview with the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. That's in England, not even America. The left-wingers at Mediaite, Biden breaks silence to shred Trump in first interview since leaving office. What the hell's going on here? That's Joe Biden says every morning when he wakes up and every night when he goes to bed. But Joe Biden talking to the BBC, and honestly, there's a great headline here. It says, the Joe Biden interview shows why America elected Donald Trump. Here's Joe Biden talking to the British Broadcasting Corporation.
Should you have withdrawn earlier, giving someone else a bigger chance?
I don't think it would have mattered.
What?
We left at a time when we had a good candidate. She was fully funded. And what happened was I had become what we had set out to do. No one thought we could do.
What?
And become so successful in our agenda, it was hard to say,
what?
No, I'm going to stop now. I know what I said when I started.
What?
That I think I'm prepared to hand this to the next generation. It's a transition government.
Of what?
But things move so quickly that it made it difficult to walk away.
Yeah, it's a what? I'm sorry, he was so successful with his agenda. What was your agenda? War in Europe, war in the Middle East, 9% inflation, Tren de Aragua, attacking the New York police and gangs in Times Square. Did you see the giant in Times Square? 11 Tren de Aragua, young men, including like 12-year-olds, attacking the New York City Police, NYPD, in Times Square yesterday, where they just installed a 12-foot-high bronze statue of a black woman, and that's all they say about it. It's not any particular black woman. It's just a black woman, and they installed a 12-foot-high bronze statue. Reminds me of the statue in Seattle, the giant bronze statue of Lenin, of Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, Lenin of the Russian Revolution. But they've installed this ridiculous 12-foot-high bronze statue of a black woman in Times Square, and that's all. It's just, and she looks like she's got a bad attitude and she's barking at somebody. Isn't it amazing? Joe Biden talking to the British Broadcasting Corporation.
It was a hard decision, but
regrets, eh?
No, I think it was the right decision. I think that
to step down. What? Speak up. Keep talking.
It was just a difficult decision.
What?
But you shouldn't have taken it, Eddie.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know how that would have made much difference.
This is the headline that he gets: is Biden breaks silence to shred Trump. I don't think so. No, I don't think that's the case. But I got Big Mike coming up. Michelle Obama, she came out in public too. Is that statue in New York of her could be got a bad enough attitude? Amazing stuff. But wait till you hear Big Mike. I want to finish off the day with Michelle Obama. It's official. What's official? You'll see. It's coming right up.
What the hell's going on here?
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home for real estate investing.
Can we have an honest talk about real estate?
What's your opinion on the market?
Every day, I hear people talking about how it's impossible to invest in real estate and it's not even worthwhile anymore. I'm getting pretty frustrated.
Get real talk from real estate pros.
I am trying to be debt-free by 40.
You have got to pay attention to this trend. Or follow me and I'll let you know what's going on.
Search for the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Show anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Making sense of your world.
Common sense. Let's get back to common sense.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon.
Now that should give you a lot of cause for hope.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independence assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. You can make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Around the clock updates and uncommon understanding.
Listen to this, because this stuff is going on behind the scenes and you don't know about it.
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Hey, I'm Reba McEntire. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Making sense of the media.
The news media is attacking him because this is what happens when you're a Republican.
Chris Plant. Weekdays 9 to noon.
Yeah, our news media, really.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania.
I'm Haley Carania. I scroll with the homies here in the live chat, and I love my long scrolls on my phone at night. The show is literally called Nightly Scroll. My screen time has reached astronomical levels, but I do it to get all of the videos and all of the content that you won't find anywhere else. I don't want to be surrounded by an echo chamber, so I hope you join me. Someone just said the show is great. Keep it up. Thank you. I will.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Carania. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words.
Only one way
but
to
their
eat
body
these
language
fuckers.
will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, I'm Paula Pant, host of the Afford Anything podcast. I help people make the smartest money decisions possible.
You should not do the 401k loan.
Reason number 4,872. Are we heading for a recession?
You'd be shocked.
Dumping it into the house?
Invest in flipping houses.
Mathematically the better option.
Paula Pants really keeping us in business.
Because face it, money's too important to wing. Review your budget.
Take the reins.
Sharpen your skills.
Do the thing
Start a side hustle.
that will affect your life.
Right. Afford Anything. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib. And the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS. SIDS? You know, sudden infant death syndrome. Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.niched.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
WMAL. Making sense of the border. Because laws either matter or they don't. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Now, Michelle Obama, poor put-upon woman that she is, 8 years in the White House. Her mother lived in the White House for 8 years while she lived in the, and I think that's one of the greatest stories of all time. Her mother, Marion Robinson, who lived in the White House for 8 years. What an extraordinary life story. And Michelle Obama, who's had one of the most amazing and luxurious lives in the history of humankind, and she can't stop complaining. It's kind of amazing. She complains that when they lived in the White House, as is the case with all first families, they have to pay for their own food. Now, there's a staff that cooks it for you and brings it to you and takes away the plates and everything, but you've got to, and they shop for you, and they go to the grocery store and all that stuff. But Michelle Obama found that very difficult and traumatizing.
It's expensive to live in the White House.
It is?
Many people don't know. I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every food, every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it. But everything, even travel, if you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the first lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income.
Running for 2 years and not earning an income, and you got to pay for the food that is then prepared for you by the White House staff. And it's been a very difficult time, and there are articles all over the place about poor Michelle Obama. She's in therapy.
At this, phase of my life, I'm in therapy right now because I'm transitioning. I'm 60 years old. I've finished a really hard thing in my life with my family intact. I'm an empty nester. My girls are in, they've been launched. And now for the first time, as I've said before, every choice that I'm making is completely mine.
Well, the difficulty, I've got to tell you, my mother raised 6 boys on her own with not enough money and, a 10-year-old car and a 3-bedroom house with 6 sons and herself. And I didn't hear her complain as much as Michelle Obama complains. This is the lefties. It wasn't all paid for. Well, what kind of a communist world do you think we're living in here? Well, you got to buy your own ground chuck. Poor, but she is transitioning. And, I'm looking forward to the final results of that. Roll!
We are one nation under God, indivisible, together.
All right, I'm going to sit here and eat my brunch. Really haven't had much of a well, I had some good stuff to eat, banana. I have grapes in the fridge. Ate 2 peanut butter cups. I have grape juice and real grape Welch's. So I'm going to end this broadcast, but I'll be back later.